Decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to bring up the tournament. They're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
Not going to do very much. Though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. So much damage, and there it is. Welcome into the Delta Force Rise series. It's America's Day 1, Week 1. I'm Goj. I told you I'd be right back here in the booth, but I've got DK with me for America's, my friend. How the heck you feeling? You just finished up EMEA like not too long ago, and you're back for more here at the Delta Force Rise series.
I mean, man, super excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing in. EMEA kind of set the standard of the day of what we could potentially be seeing, but as we know, that's a different region, right? We know Americans, they are aggressive, they are bold, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can be bringing onto the battlefield here today.
That's exactly right, man. If we are live everywhere, we're on all of the channels right now. Delta Force has been live all day, but we have an incredible Delta Force Rise series for you today in America's region. A lot of these teams, all of these teams came through open qualifiers, and then a bunch of organizations came in and scooped them all up. We got a lot to talk about with how these teams got here. Let's take a look back and see how open qualifiers went.
Out of this, maybe with the perfect timing on this, might be able to find a perfect little bit of a clap. Maybe smoking a line up. That's not bad, and doing some good damage, and now needs to reposition one more time. Gets out of the high, drops low. You can see there's just players left, right, and center, but there it is, Jota being able to find a good kill onto Loco. Now it's just BK lighting up the kill feed right now, and just like that, you can see NL. They've already lost two of their players. Just leaves it for one player remaining. And look at this, just going open into the streets, just looking for the duel, and it's not even going to stop them at all. This Raptor definitely has a little bit of a bite.
So let's see whether or not Lux can actually use that to its full extent. Loud now getting absolutely blinded, and this is that entry that BK now looks for. Up they come, rather beautiful jump, but NC now just getting absolutely clapped hit after hit.
Everything getting spammed away, and NT getting a little bit caught. But look at this! Oh, hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute swing! And NT are eradicated. They are removed.
Is still in possession of LEG. 15 seconds on the clock. In the chaos, DEF are gonna have to jump this. And LEG's gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shock arrow, knocks them down. LEG! Point added to their total. They're slowly but surely creeping up to 70 as Meg is just putting on a highlight reel of how to use this compound bow effectively, and a nice flick actually lands. Could be the demise of LEG if they're not careful.
Or it could just be it just could, either which way, it's just going to be absolutely amazing, right? Meg just on the money there.
But now causing a bit of chaos down below. They're going to full swing on this. They don't have to play for the brick. It's already been stolen. They need to play for the full team wipe. And they're able to get 1, 2, 3 down. Just past LEG. You got to remember LEG. They've lost a ton of score, but they're winning the gunfights. Unbelievable setup and nice trade with the help of DM. Down goes NT, their full wipe. DM might be the last players remaining on this map. LEG down to a solo. DM just wiped 2 full teams, nearly all of them in a blink of an eye. DM still have a chance. There is a 6-point differential between LEG and DM. And EXX is on the run. And he is showing back to his opponents. He goes down. LEG might have just thrown the game to DM.
Good grief. Open qualifiers was a banger, man. You and I had a ton of fun casting together. What'd you think about that one?
I mean, it was hot, it was sweaty, it was sometimes a little bit uncomfortable, I'd say, for a few of the squads here, but as we know, that it was only but a taste of what is to come, as we are going to be stepping fully into the Rise series, and I'm expecting absolute chaos and mayhem to erupt.
Dude, this format is so dang cool. And looking back at the qualifiers and how the teams got here, I am so pumped to kick off the games today. But before we do, let's take a quick look at some of the rules and how this all works with this very unique format with the Delta Force Rise series.
Delta Force. 1 game, 2 regions, 1 shot at glory. This is the complete guide to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Everything you need to know, from the very first match to the last squad standing. The path is the same in both regions. It starts with the open qualifiers, open to any team that wants to compete. The best push through to the group stage, where the top 2 advance directly to the finals, bottom 2 eliminated, and the rest battle through the survivor stage to earn their spot. From the open qualifiers, 12 teams have fought their way into the season, and only 1 will lift the trophy. The group stage runs for 4 weeks, with matches every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The 12 teams are split into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. 3 teams per group. Each broadcast day, 2 groups go head-to-head in a cross-group match. Every match is a 7-round format. 6 teams competing in the same lobby simultaneously, across up to 7 rounds on maps like Zero Dam, Brakkesh, Tide Prison, and Space City. Teams earn squad points by scoring eliminations and accumulating in-game total assets. And on brick rounds, they compete to collect and decode Mandel bricks, artifacts that decide the round winner. Decode 2 Mandel bricks in a match and the victory is locked in, no matter what round you're on. After 12 match days, the group stage standings are final. Places 1 to 2 go straight to the finals. Places 3 to 8 enter Survivor Stage Day 1. Places 9 to 10 drop into Survivor Stage Day 2. Places 11 to 12 are eliminated. The Survivor Stage is where the bracket narrows fast. Day 1 brings those 6 teams together for one 7-round match. The top 2 advance directly to the finals. Places 3 to 6 get 1 more shot. Day 2 mixes the 4 survivors from Day 1 with the 2 teams ranked 9th and 10th from the group stage. Again, 6 teams, 1 7-round match. Top 2 go to the finals. Everyone else is out. 6 teams, 1 day, 1 lobby, 1 match. This is the finals, the ultimate showdown of the season. 2 teams earned it through the group stage. 2 more survived Day 1. The last 2 came through Day 2. Every team deserves to be there. The top 3 finishers earn an invitation to Season 2. Welcome to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Loot, shoot, extract.
If that doesn't get you hype, I don't know what will. Let's take a look at what the video talked about of how players move throughout the course of the next 5 weeks. If they can make it to the finals on week 5, they're certainly going to be hype about that one. But as you see the players, they're going to be working through our group stages. Again, 4 different groups, 3 teams each. They're going to have a chance to play each other, A versus B, B versus C, etc., until they've all played against each other. And they play a total of 12 matches, and they're all playing those 7-round matches that we're used to playing. Overall standings dictate how people move forward. You can see all those places. If you get 1st or 2nd in the group stages, you're going all the way to the finals. Then there's a survivor stage. There's a lot of different ways to make it to the finals, but you got to be one of the 6 teams that do get there. DK, we got to talk about the rules for today, though, because it's group stage day. All of our players, you've probably all seen this format before. 1.5 mil is their Technic Alloy start. But if you die, just like pubs, you lose your gear. One small change from maybe some of the scrims or last season of preparing for the Delta Force Rise Series official launch. We are now on Season Echo. You're going to see Morse on the map. But today is all about Mandel bricks. If you get 2 Mandel bricks throughout the course of the day, you win today's competition, even if we don't make it to Game 7. Now, you can also earn points. That's our tiebreaker if you don't have a Mandel brick. One way to do that is get kills, and if you get kills, you also get paid 800k per elimination. Down there at the bottom, you also get some extra Technic Alloy just for playing the game to make sure you don't go totally broke. And you do have that 3x3 safe box just to make sure you can get some nice juicy reds or those dog tags, which do have value as well. We gotta talk Mandelbrick though. This is the name of the game. The main thing you gotta pay attention to with the Mandelbrick is the decoding station. Once you place that Mandelbrick into the decoding station, a 4-minute timer starts. And every time the mana brick is stolen at the decoding station, the total time that it can reset to will be reduced by 30 seconds. So from 4 to 3.5 to 3, all the way down, minimum 90 seconds. If it gets down to 90 seconds, it gets stolen again, it's 90 seconds again. Cool thing, by the way, with that is that if you're the team that's currently decoding it and you die, it is paused. That timer fully paused. Now, points are important, DK. Very quickly, talk to me about these points and what they mean for future competitions.
Well, at the end of the day, if you finish with the most points on the board, you walk away with 8 points going and counting towards the overall group stage. Of course, you can see that first place being worth 8. It whittles down to 6th place, which is unfortunately not going to be awarding you any additional points. But if you are in 6th place and you still have a mantle brick that you were able to decode, don't know why you would be sitting in 6th place with a mantle brick, but let's say you were. You would still have that 1 additional point coming your way. Now, the way to ensure that you finish at the top of the board is either through decoding or ensuring that you have as many squad points as you can get. How do you get them? Kill points and supply points. So for every 2 million of assets that they are able to secure, they get awarded 1 point, right? And of course, each and every single kill is worth a single point. So if the teams love to be aggressive, they are going to be smiling with the amount of total squad points they'll be sitting with come end of day.
That's exactly right. Kills are everything in this new format. We're seeing this new format, the new way to do points, incentivizing people to play aggressive. You know what else is going to incentivize them to play aggressive? Is money, man. We got a lot of cash on the line for this competition. $60,000 for first place all the way down. You all can read. Still walking away with $1,000 even if you get 11th or 12th place throughout the course of Season 1. This is the 5-week competition we're doing right now. Now, there is $50 per kill. It's a dynamic kill bonus throughout the course of the entirety of this competition. And then MVP at the end of the season is another $3,000. A lot of ways to earn money into the day. You need to be at the top of the leaderboard if you want to earn the most cash. This is probably the most important screen today. We've got some incredible organizations represented and some incredible teams, all the way from Team Nadeshot to FaZe to Leviathan to BTH, SSG, Spacestation Gaming, Nightmare down at the bottom left. I see some support for them in the chat. Fluxo down bottom middle. They also played in DFIW. These are unbelievable organizations that are stepping into the Delta Force Rise series for the very first time, and they say, hey, I'm going to plant my flag here and say this esport is going to be a banger, so they want to be a part. Big shout out to Team Liquid, WKF, EG. Everybody in America is competing in each of their respective groups. You won't see all of those today, just our first couple teams. Now, as we look at our schedule, this is what we're doing today. It is July 10th after all. It's A and B, DK. Those are the first 2 groups of teams. Again, each group is 3 teams, so there's our 6-team lobby. A and B is today. Of course, we're going to be live tomorrow for July 11th. C and D will play, and then we'll have A and C play as well on the 12th. You see the schedule. It's every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the next 5 weeks, folks. You're going to see so much Delta Force Rise series. So let's talk about the teams, DK. We got to start with Evil Geniuses with a banger roster.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got a decent chunk of hours on the board as well. We'll be seeing their preferred weapons and, of course, the operator class that they decide to play with, the ones that they are the most comfortable with. It is interesting to see Articuno going for the SVCH, one of the very pop of weapons that we have currently available in the game. But of course, they're not the only team, right? We got WKF here as well. Again, also, Asvel's coming through on us. Interesting to see the kind of change up that we have with what weapons they choose to favorite. I mean, EMEA is just jam-packed with M7s. There comes our first M7 now for the America side.
Favorite weapon not available. Says, I'll take any weapon you give me and I will gun you down. There are some stars on these rosters and we have so much to talk about and so many games to get through. I can't talk about all of them, but this roster right here is special. Nightmare, Equal Plays in particular, an extremely talented player that's been playing for a very long time. I casted over this guy in the alpha, picking up a guy like Farmer Lucas, who's put in 1,700 hours, and of course the amount of time he's been playing the game, that is a ridiculous number. And in general, I think this entire roster is a team you have to watch out for in this Delta Force Rise series. They're going to make some big waves. They know the game really well. But speaking of some of the top teams on the board, man, it's difficult sometimes to say there's a top dog before the competition starts. But if you could say that, it's SSG. Spacestation Gaming have ridiculous hours, yes, but they also have the pedigree. The pedigree from this team is that 2 out of 3 of these players played for the Inc. roster that went to the global finals and got 2nd place out of everybody in the world. That is a really strong team. Watch out for Spacestation Gaming.
I mean, that's the kind of performance that you want on your side, right? That is going to help carry you forward. Interesting setup here from Megalor coming through with that compound bow. I mean, again, not too surprising to see that be the case, but I wasn't expecting 2 players back to back having the compound bow being their preferred weapon. But again, right, that is kind of this is the only region where I've seen that they really utilize that compound bow, right? It is something that is completely different in comparison to what we see on the other side. But excited to see exactly where these teams are going to look to take it as we look at our Group A lineup. We'll be hopping over onto Group B as well. And I mean, these are going to be the performers getting ready to step out onto the battlefield here today.
Really pumped to watch Nightmare, SSG, LSZ, a little bit unproven. Really big shout out to Jade Advise. I've been casting over that guy for like half a decade in multiple different titles. So cool to see him here in the Pro League as well with Delta Force Rise series. But you're going to see FaZe competing today. I've been casting over a lot of these scrims with a lot of these teams actually in Group A and Group B. So a lot of familiar faces for me. Let's talk map rotation though. It's a little bit different from what we did not too long ago for even the open qualifiers. Round 3 is tied prison every single time. No decisions made there. But round 7, a little different. Team in last gets to choose whether it's going to be Brakkesh or it will be Space City. Another big difference in round 2, if we're playing Brakkesh, you will see an airdrop and a Mandel brick. Really important note, it's going to change the map a little bit. You may see the airdrop abandoned, you may see people fight over it, but either way, you look at it, a lot to play for on map 2, and you'll see that same thing on map 7 if it's chosen. Let's talk operators though. DK, you and I always talk metas. We don't have to get into the weeds with it right now, but the big thing to remember is that teams can only choose each of these operators twice throughout the course of the entire competition until map 7 when they open up again.
Yep, they're going to have to be very decisive and very strategic as to who they choose to play going forward because, I mean, stepping onto our first map, again, you don't want to necessarily use the operator that you are going to be needing once you get onto either Brakkesh or heading over onto Space Station. So there's going to be a very difficult decision that has to be made rather coming through from our squads. But I think especially for the first map, I think Raptor could potentially be an option that they are going to be vying for. But then again, I'm curious to see at what point they got to look to maybe opt in for Morse.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of combos we can have around meta, and I'm pumped to just see what Americas does. There's this fun conversation we always have with Delta Force and plenty of other titles too, where the EMEA region and the Americas region play quite differently sometimes. Sometimes Americas could be more aggressive. They play slightly different operator choices. In general, our meta is that Tempest is the most valuable operator when it comes to Mandel Brick rounds. And then when you play maps like Zero Dam and Brakkesh, usually you're going to see a lot of recon or intel operators like Raptor, just because there's so much open spaces. And then on Space City, you got to prioritize smokes. So those are kind of like the big hits. And of course, we'll get into the weeds as we get into the games. What I love about the Delta Force Rise series is that all of our players are on camera, DK. Yes, we're online, but it feels like we're in person. And Nightmare, DW's got the camera right up on the forehead, man. I love this perspective. These players are locked in, ready to go for day one.
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss the moment, right? It's just like, you know what? You want to see my face? Here it is. Look at it, observe it, and soak it in. And I mean, we're going to be looking at all our players having the opportunity to show a few emotions as they go through the paces here today, and really looking forward to seeing exactly who's going to be bringing in that heat. I mean, because most recently you were casting on the scrims that they were doing, right? At SSG, they were just backing in the pressure there, but I'm curious as to whether or not that is going to change coming into the proceedings here today, right? Because, I mean, I'm using EMEA as reference, right? Looking at what they did in the shows and the open qualifiers, things changed up quite a bit once they actually stepped out onto the field.
I totally agree, man. I think there's going to be some nerves. This is the first time playing in a pro match for some of these players ever in their lives. Some of these players on salary for the very first time in their lives, representing an organization which has a larger viewer base than maybe they're used to. Like, there's gotta be nerves. Even though it's only day one and there's 5 weeks of competition, 4 weeks of group stages, like, I would be feeling nervous. That's all I would know. But a big shout out to Articuno there. Saw him at the end. He had the shooting sleeve on. Met that guy in person a couple times. Great guy, great player. Let's see what he can do on the map. Zero damn time, DK. Our first airdrop coming in a couple minutes. Let's see who starts off first with T1 spawns. It's going to be SSG and WKF, looking like they'll be swinging it admin first.
Yeah, they're going to be going for those hot seats, pushing straight on forward. You can see FaZe also picking up a few of those scouts along the way, as they are also now in hot pursuit. They might actually be going for for the wall breaker approach here. Not sure if that is going to be the strategy they'll be looking to attempt or push for, but yep, the team's pretty much going through the motions. We do see LSZ also going for that very southern positioning right alongside EG. So both teams getting ready for a bit of a fight here up in Visitors.
Yeah, I love it. I think admin is going to be a hot spot, but EG not full sending into the fight over here at Visitor Center. Like you mentioned, they will fight, but let's quick look at loadouts there, and everything was mostly standard across the board. You can see the operators on the left as well, and I love his perspective. Equal plays, by the way, finding a red off screen, but here on main, a lot of Raptors, as expected. A Raptor, I think, on every single team. A couple Noxes, a couple D-Wolves, mostly standard across the board.
I mean, we even see a double D-Wolf coming through there for the side of Nightmare, right? So they've got some plans. They are getting ready to play with some upsets. So excited to see just exactly how they're going to look to utilize that. But yeah, pretty standard, pretty meta setup coming through across the board. Now it's down to how they can utilize those operators and actually leverage the skills to get themselves, firstly, that economy that they're going to be looking for.
I mean, one quick note, while we still have the screen up, actually, I do see an Alluru being used by FaZe. You don't see that often in Zero Dam. Like, sure, has a ton of value on a map like Zero Dam. Just using Alluru's rocket to actually for intel is nice. But Alluru is super valuable for Mantle Brick rounds, being able to zone off with Incendiary. So I wonder if that's a mistake or a cool play that I'll be looking to FaZe to kind of make big waves in this first map. Or maybe they're burning Alluru for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just pure speculation. What's not speculation, though, is what SSG is doing, right? They've already been able to secure themselves 1 million in assets in this round so far, and that is a pretty strong start as they've just been farming it up. But, of course, Articuno just doing a little bit of that scouting to see exactly where the opposing side is, and unfortunately for them, right, LSZ right on their doorstep, so they're going to have to be super calculated with how they move through this visitor center.
That's a good shot. These two teams are going to stare at each other for a while. Don't want to make the first mistake. And SSG have had admin basically to themselves until now. Glad we're swapping over to it. Here is WKF finally addressing SSG on the other side after SSG has found, like you mentioned, quite a bit of value to kick things off. But the new rules, I do want to remind people, I know we went through it quick, but 2 million is the amount of loot you need to score an extra point. So kills are insanely important. Not only is each kill 1 point, but it is also 800K on top of that goes straight to the bank. So these two teams, yes, they'd like to loot admin fairly safely, but a team wipe is much more valuable.
Yeah, and of course, currently as we sit, nobody is going to be picking up any points just yet, right? SSG getting especially close to it, but not yet close enough. Equal, of course, just making sure that the lovely cement blonde here is devoid of any scavs moving about, as those additional footsteps could definitely cause a little bit of confusion every now and again. But yeah, other than that, up in admin, we are finding ourselves in a bit of a standoff. SSG over on towards that western side, and of course WKF coming through over on towards the eastern front. The airdrop, though, is going to be dropping all the way down to mini-sub, right? And that is the great opportunity now for LSZ to get their hands on a little bit of that early loot to get that ego pushed up as high as they can.
I agree. Good shout. Let's see LSZ. J Devise. Again, this is why Raptor's so valuable. You just get so much intel. Flying over. Basically, you use this drone to just clear whatever rotation you're trying to make. Especially if you think somebody's in that rotation. All these players have played Zero Dam. I mean, they all had like almost 2,000 hours each or more, and they've probably played Zero Dam several thousand times at this point. So we know where all the spawns are. First airdrop should be dropping in, though, right on top of LSZ, and they've got it free and clear. So the way the airdrops work, for those that haven't seen these, is we'll have 2 of them. The first will be some, hopefully, good loot. There is some RNG to it to some degree. The second will be even more valuable, potentially, depending on the RNG that you pull out. Now, I say RNG in both. Why? Because in the first one, you can either pull the AWM or the M82, which is what LSZ pulled. So each of those ammo rounds, obviously very valuable, but also the gun itself, extremely valuable because it's nearly a one-shot these days. AWM, a lot of the same. The second is going to be a bunch of gold or red items. So even more RNG in the second airdrop. We'll see if anybody goes for it.
Yep, and you see that weapon being worth quite a bit there is LSE already up to 1.1 mil. But now we jump right back into the hot seat right here with the WKF to see whether or not they are going to look to get aggressive over towards SG. And so far, Spacestation actually holding pretty steadily, right? They're not really pushing over towards that eastern side, but it's going to be WKF now looking to open up this can as they push straight on forward. Sky is quickly setting out the utilities to keep them on a bit of a back foot and just checking the opposite window to make sure that they're not getting pushed from both directions.
Drone gets all the intel, sees all three stacked on top of each other. They know this is going to be a full swing if they do swing around the corner. This will be the first real engagement we've witnessed if one of these teams commits. Unfortunately, with an angle like this, DK, I just think the first team to make the move will probably be the first team down. Sometimes it's, yes, a battle of skill, but it's also a battle of who makes the first mistake. Usually dictates the winners. We'll see.
Well, as you can see, SSG not trying to be that team to make that first mistake, trying to keep themselves very well and distant from the engagement brewing here from the WKF side. But, I mean, both teams kind of just trying to figure out what is going to be that angle to take, right? They are bringing in a little bit of caution, and that's kind of to be expected. But curious to see just how long SSG is going to be able to kind of hold this position, because FaZe is moving up, right? They're making noise, and FaZe, they have that whole western side to explore and get a good strategic position over on towards SSG.
Another drone comes out, sees all three there. I will say something that you don't see. You might see them pop into view on the minimap shortly. FaZe is wrapping. There they are in X-ray. You can see FaZe blue. They're not in the building yet, but they are wrapping on admin, trying to play third party. If this goes on too long, could see FaZe get into the mix here in admin if they can make the full cross, if they want to.
It does seem like they're also just potentially waiting for that airdrop to come down, right? They have about a minute and a bit of change left on the clock before that airdrop is going to be finding its way down. So FaZe get themselves set up, want to go for as much of that group as they can find here. But I mean, down south though, things are looking quite interesting, especially for the Evil Geniuses, right? They've moved out of it. They've now kind of gone over to where we did see that airdrop come down earlier. As we know, it is empty, so there's not really all too much for them to currently grab over towards that position. And now it's going to be that send a little bit further over towards the western front as the southern side of the squad start to expand. The northern edge is actually starting to tighten up quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a good shot. It looked like Nightmare maybe was just camping the paid extract on the south side. Could be waiting on a team like EG maybe to rotate over from visitors and engage with him there, playing around extract. You don't see FaZe on your screen. FaZe on your screen, you see them up by where Wallbreaker is going on, one of our special missions on the map. There's a couple of things I'll talk about that in a moment, but a bunch of util thrown down, so maybe enough damage for somebody to make the first move, but no. We continue to play patient. Don't want to make any mistakes. That Allura rocket from FaZe being utilized to get the intel. FaZe now know they're definitely through this window. Get a bunch of recon from that rocket, and FaZe may change up the strategy. So I'll talk about it very briefly here, DK, because you can see it popping up on the right-hand side. If you all haven't watched Delta Force Rise series yet or any of the scrims, this is a brand new thing. These lucky wooden statues. You can pull them from the Wallbreaker mission, and on other maps, you can get them from the bosses. You can use those statues. Yes, it says they're only worth one technicality. That's not totally true. You can use them to trade for gold armor, okay? You can buy some vouchers and then use those for trade. They're very valuable, so it is a nice play from FaZe to get those and potentially get gold armor faster than some of their opponents.
Well, big brain strategy coming through there from FaZe, right? They are trying to capitalize on that later stage economy coming through. We do see Mr. DRGod also finding quite a few reds there. They are just locking in on the reds there. How many are there? Seems like they have everything to upgrade their black side if they need to.
Yeah, nice job pulling rifle as well as fossil, as well as the wooden statues. That's what it happens when you get Wallbreaker alone. But hey, talking about RNG, nice little champagne bottle, decent red coming out of our second airdrop. Otherwise, no. Okay, a little quantum as well. We take that from LSZ. That is, by the way, I think that's both airdrops that they got for free. I mean, they're getting away with murder here if they just leave. I mean, they're nearly 3 mil just from this map alone. kills worth more, but still nice to have a lot of value and util of a sniper. But engagement here, maybe enough blood for this WKF team to push, but no, still playing patient. This is one of the longest standoffs I've seen in admin in a very long time.
I mean, you were talking about LSZ, they just for a brief moment, right? I mean, they are actually pushing to no bag. They are going to do what you jokingly said. They are going to extract. They just backed up and like, yeah, that's fine. We can leave now. And then they're going to send the other two operators back out to see if they can maybe get a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, WKF, though, still trying relentlessly to get over onto SSG. And I mean, SSG holding on a very good defensive here, right? WKF not really actually managing to gain a lot of ground here.
That's a good shout. Now, I would expect a good call out on no bag. I would expect LSZ to send out at no bag the one player that hits the M82 likely, is my guess. Now, I'm taking a look bottom right. Yeah, I think these boys have found a lot of nice loot. Okay, they're gonna be passing looting around. They're trying to stack up one player the best they can. Gonna send him out with that sniper rifle again. You want to save that M82 because it's so strong. Some of these mantle brick rounds. That's likely what they're working on off screen. Nice shot from our observing team, but more util, DK, and still no fight. We have been at it for nearly 13 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, so if ever asked how much utility you should bring into this round, because you can't, right? The answer is always just yes. That is how much util you need to find yourself in a bit of a standoff here. But I'm curious to see what FaZe is going to be doing, right? Because FaZe, obviously, they've been in the vicinity for quite some time. But WKF, though, they just cracking the can wide open.
It's a trade back and forth, and Too Easy shooting straight. Too Easy's making it easy. WKF got the first blood, but then lost two players. It's going to be C-Bots by himself. Now, one member of SSG is weak, and the other is down. So he's going to chow this. Ego, 1, 2. No, can't even get the cleanup. Maybe, just maybe, if he had the wherewithal to go for the finishes instead, some extra value, but instead tried to be the hero. And unfortunately, we'll go out with 0 on that one, DK. No kills. Everybody on red timer means they're still knocked. It's not an official kill. WKF, after all that work, unfortunately, full wipe with nothing to show for it.
And the funny thing is that Killzal almost didn't take any damage, right? Like, he almost didn't lose a single bit of health there. Can't say the same about the armor that he's got on, but I mean, wow, a good position that he found himself in there. And now it's all going to be up to what is going to be happening with the rest of the lobby. LSZ, they've sent their one player out. They have been able to profit the profits that they were able to accrue in this round. Now it's time to focus on aggression, right? Now they can push forward, they can go for those kills and add themselves 800k per elimination coming through.
I totally agree. LSC in a really strong spot with the amount of loot that they were able to get onto the map, and then just go play spoiler. You can hear the elevator has been pulled by just in the nick of time. If you can compare those timers, the elevator extract has 3:48 on it. Our match timer is 3:55 when I called that time. So that is what, a 7-second difference on whether or not that elevator extract was going to be able to use it, not. And that is a ballsy chicken play, really, from FaZe to just say somebody's going to pull this, right? They've been sitting here since they did Wallbreaker. They got all that loot, remember, from the saves, and they just sat here and said, somebody's got to pull them, right? And finally, just barely in time, they're going to be camping it. They're going to be first to the elevator. Going to be huge bang out for this extract.
Well, I mean, of course, that means one team is going to be able to make it out, and another team maybe not, right? Whomever decides to rush right up towards that elevated extraction could find themselves in a very interesting setup. But EG also going to be playing it quite cautiously. As you can see, Articuno just continuously scanning it out, trying to make sure that they have at least somewhat of a secure rotation moving forward here. And Killzal also trying to do a little bit of due diligence, but you have to look right at the extract, right? Because that's where we know FaZe is currently set up. So they might be in for quite a bit of a surprise if they think the coast is clear.
Yeah, I agree. I think Killzal is calmed. Oh, Crosswell, speaking of what he's calm, he's probably saying, hey, look, we found somebody. LSC is a duo, and they're getting pinched. Unfortunately, here comes EG. Perfectly timed. Little hip fire. Loco, great shots across the board. Well executed. Both of the two players from LSC who were trying to play spoiler get obliterated in the pinch between a rock and a hard place called SSG and EG. Remember, EG rotated all the way from visitors all the way around Barrack side. They've walked the entire map at this point, and they're showing up perfectly timed for the party. Kills all unfortunately can't land those, but equal plays. Nightmare for the backside. EG is getting pinched just like they pinched LZSC. Sorry.
Yeah, just pick a consonant and you will eventually hit the right one as the teams just keep on pushing up so aggressively. And I like this kind of chain fighting that we are looking at right here, right? We did see Articuno getting dropped on down. Nightmare staying true to their name. As you can see, DW just poking through the window, coming in with a few of those D-Wolf nades, trying to see if he can go the distance. But Loco, though, he's going to be waiting just on the inside. SSG also getting ready to get cooking here. They know they got to move up. If they want to extract, if they want to walk away with that value, they're going to have to be the team that makes it all the way through that.
78 seconds on the clock. Oh, great find from Loco. He is beaming today. It's another one for Loco from a distance. This is going to help ward off the push from Nightmare, who were a full team of 3 pushing a duo. Those remaining members of EG after they had a great flank. Util doesn't quite land. LSZ down, the only team besides WKF out of here. Easy also answering back. Great shots over the top on Muo. Muo, it's a trading of blows left, right, and center. DK, I don't know who's going to come out this alive, but now Loco's going to have to be a hero.
I mean, this just goes from one tough decision to I'm not so sure about that call, right? As Loco now really gonna have to get super risky with this push. But fortunately for him, though, it is gonna be Nightmare pushing up on SSG, but I'm not quite sure if they are gonna be able to buy them enough time. Beautiful interaction there as they do get the pickup, and in the meantime, FaZe are potentially gonna be the team to take that extraction as they're the only squad left, and off they go. An effortless play coming through from FaZe.
Yeah, FaZe just skipped the extract, and here in the final seconds, Loco's just looking for any kill he can get his hand on. What a wild map here in Zero Dam. It's been fun to watch Zero Dam over the course of the last several scrims leading up to the Rise series. Almost every time I've seen Zero Dam played, it's extremely aggressive. People are throwing kills left, right, center. People are getting wiped within the first 5 seconds. This time, DK, we didn't have a team die until there was 5 minutes left. It was very slow. I don't know if this nerves kicking in or just trying to make the right decisions throughout the course of the map, but there's only a couple big winners. FaZe getting all out alive is huge for them. They saved the gear they brought in, and remember, they picked up a ton of reds. Not all of those reds could fit in those safe boxes, so a nice save there from FaZe. But SSG, technically our best team, because they pick up 5 kills, and we talked about how valuable those kills are. That is 5 points plus 800K times 5, folks. That's 4 million in technicality they're getting just for the kills alone.
Yeah, I mean, math is a tough thing, but yes, it is going to be 4 mil going their way. That on top of the assets that they were able to kind of stuff into their secure boxes as well, right? So there's quite a bit for them to look forward to. But as you can see, SSG just popping off, coming through with those 5 kills. Evil Genius is picking up 3 alongside the 2 from Nightmare. And there we got the extractions on the other side. Of course, we did see LSZ sending that one player out quite early at the no bag. And of course, FaZe getting that beautiful full extraction. I mean, they're just going to be sitting back, relaxing. And even though when we looked at the cams, right, they didn't seem phased at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really like what I'm seeing from some of these teams. I like what I see from FaZe to get a full extract out amidst the chaos. They didn't overextend, but a big shout out to Too Easy. I was saying he was shooting straight, so was Loco, but picking up 3 kills in the first map is hero plays for their team, especially, remember, in the fight versus WKF actually got first blood, and then Too Easy traded out 2 of them, and Killzall was able to keep the team alive and make sure that nobody went down to yellow time, which means they didn't give any points away to their opponents. Solid damage here from Too Easy. Equal plays from Nightmare with that big flank that they made on EG, picking up over 400 damage as well. And then Killzall just keeps popping up on every single graphic. Picks up the assist for Too Easy there in admin. Overall, it's SSG all day in the top of the kills and assist category.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely setting the standard here in our first round of day number 1 as well. So Good statement being made there from them, but the big question is, can they carry that forward? Of course, we do see J Devise being able to extract with 2.5 mil, a quick run through that no bag, and of course, very close to him is Sadoika, right? Coming through with 1.4 mil, so a very decent overall extraction that they've been able to secure here, but it is going to be our MVP, right? It's going to be too easy walking away with those 3 operator kills, 662 damage, and of course, 633.8k to boot.
Yeah, I agree, man. Too easy. Picked up a massive game for the team and secured SSG a ton of points and a ton of value for the next game. And as we move our eyes towards what will be Brakkesh and will be our first Mana Brick round, that is extremely important. You can see it right here on our screen, though. I do want you to follow Delta Force on all major socials and go download the game and check it out, because especially Delta Force has a ton of social medias you can follow, not only on their main channels, but also their esports specific channels. We've been streaming on those. They're tweeting on those. They're all putting posts out on X on those, and all over the place. There's a ton going on with Delta Force and, of course, the Rise series. I mean, we've literally been live all day on this channel, so make sure you drop a follow on all those socials to stay up to date. DK, what a start. That was not what I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more pace, but at the very end, we had a chaotic ending that I think will make for a good start moving into map 2.
I think they're getting warmed up, right? That's that first round, first day jitters just coming in. And of course, I'm pretty sure they're going to shake it off once we head over into round number next, which is going to be a lot more heated, a lot more sweaty. But of course, you were talking about the socials and the cool things, right? You can also head over onto the Play Delta Force website to go check out the new esports tab if you want to follow the EMEA and the Americas Rise series stats. There's so much happening over on there, so be sure to go check that out. But on that one, of course, we also are going to be heading into a little bit of a break.
Yeah, let's.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute sweat.
This. And Elliot's got it, though. They're here. Lines them up, even through the shock. You're nuts. The last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's going to be hopping off that. Down 1. Go.
This court finds that the AI holds no legal responsibility.
But the data, this doesn't add up. Just do what the AI.
Priority. Protect company assets. Valve closed.
You destroyed our home!
That dream again.
Gabriel Mercier, codename N2, role engineer. As a former nuclear facility engineer, N2 was removed from his position following a major incident that escalated into legal proceedings. He later returned to military service and was reassigned to Arctic deployment under CBR and related units. With the originally designated technical specialist unable to fulfill operational requirements, and following assessment review, N2 has been approved as a replacement operator for the subsequent operation.
Stun out. Throwing stun. Stun hit. Freeze right there. It's getting cold.
N2 is equipped with a modified grenade launcher, capable of firing up to 6 LN2 grenades. Upon impact, each round detonates and releases a burst of cryogenic gas, dealing area damage and significantly impairing enemy mobility. Sustained hits can fully immobilize targets through extreme low temperature exposure.
Cold. I can go colder.
I'll get you out of here.
The enemy got the mantle bricks. Find and stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not gonna do very much. Though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is. Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series, America's Day 1, Week 1, and of course, all eyes on Killzall and Spacestation Gaming coming out of Game 1. They not only had the MVP, too easy, but they were the best team on the map, mostly because they picked up 5 kills on the map, which is a ton of points for them. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to them today. They pick up a total of 9 squad points throughout the course of Map 1. What do you think, TK?
I mean, it's looking pretty exciting, right? So to get those 4 supply points means that they got quite a bit of bank walking away with this. And let's see quite a bit of that happening across the board here. So, yep, the team's definitely looking to kind of set the pace here for the day. But I think the big question is going to be, right, as we now move from that round 1 over into round number 2, right? What is that pacing going to be? Because for now, still, the Mandelbrick section is empty, and we want to see teams start to fill that one up. So I'm going to be all eyes on that, and Evil Geniuses, of course, are going to be tied right there with Nightmare. Both squads sitting on 5 squad points apiece.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 5 is a solid number, especially on a 0 time that played as slow as that one did. Of course, you got to pay attention to FaZe Clan. They do pick up 4 supply points because they did Wall Breaker. They also got those lucky wooden sculptures, which you saw them pop up while they were doing the Wall Breaker mission. Those are big to be able to get gold armor a little bit faster than your opponents. As we move into Brakkesh, though, things have changed a little bit from competitions in the past. One more reminder about this: we have airdrops and a Mandel Brick happening at the same time on the same map. Brakkesh is going to be a ton of fun. This map is one of my favorites for that very reason. There's so many objectives to play for, but usually what you'll see is, well, Mandel Brick spawns at Museum, and there's a decoding station at Museum. So usually we just plant that sucker and just pray that we're able to hold on for dear life while the hordes come flying in all over Museum. Gonna be fun to watch. But DK, talk to me about this screen. Not a lot to write home about, except for, of course, what Nightmare did. It was double burning D-Wolf, but anything else you see?
I mean, I think one thing here that would be quite helpful, especially on Brakkesh, is going to be now using a little bit more of the engineers, right? Like Shepard or Lura to really trying to help kind of lock it down. You don't want to spend your Tempest just yet, right? You want to save those for when we get to those later Mandel Brick rounds. But curious to see exactly what the pick is going to be here. And of course, you want to play a little bit of that recon as well, right? I mean, D-Wolf also not a bad choice when it comes to the map of Brakkesh itself. So yeah, curious to see what those loadouts will be.
Yeah, I agree. I think Americas could change it up a little bit. Show me something. I'm really expecting to see a lot of Raptors again. Some teams will even burn both Raptors here in the first two maps. And so I'll expect to see some of those. Just you need intel. You need eyes in the sky when you're making some of these rotations with how many streets and alleyways you can get shot from. Quick look at it, though. Do see several or a couple Raptors, but seeing a lot more. I think that was Morris. We'll check out in just a second. As we look towards the Mandel Brick, what happens? EG and FaZe are first to Museum because they got the T1 spawns. We'll talk a little bit more about spawns in a little bit, but means that they're very close to where the brick spawns. 26 seconds on the clock before you can pick up the brick. Both of these teams in a position to try to grab it first. It's going to need a lot of smokes if you can, and maybe a little bit of luck to not get shot as you run towards it. But who knows? You might see a standoff just like map 1.
Yeah, interesting loadout that I am looking at is FaZe Lord, double Shepard, and a little bit of that Gizmo setup. So I'm curious to see what exactly they have in mind for us here. But yeah, pretty aggressive loadout across the board. And I mean, this time around, it seems like the teams aren't going to be looking to spend too much time just waiting back, right? Ready with the setup, e.g. FaZe. They have their eyes set on that Mandel Brick. They want to get this whole process underway, but you're going to have to wait a little bit more, right? Mandel Brick is going to take a little bit before it starts to pop on through. So teams can now look to figure out what their play will be here. FaZe already sitting on 1.1 mil with regards to the profits.
Yeah, nice finds here at Museum. And they've actually done a really good job of getting eyes on the brick, yes, because it has spawned, but also as Evil Genius's Muamua showing us how to get a little bit of intel without giving too much away, at least of getting shot as you take these peeks. Nice little high-level movement there, but now big shout out to FaZe because they've secured basically all of Museum for now, right? Once the brick comes back inside, if that's where it goes, they're gonna have a lot harder time holding down the building, but they're able to loot up while also keeping eyes on the brick. They're happy to play this slow because they're in a pretty powerful position. Evil Geniuses similarly are in a power position over the brick, but they're not gonna be doing anything besides just staring at it or trying to make the first move. And so I'm expecting to see Evil Geniuses go for the first play for the brick when they feel like the coast is clear enough, or maybe if they get a little bit of damage on somebody peeking a window, they go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we do see FaZe also burning one of their golds, but as you said, right, they had those wooden statues that they could use to kind of exchange for that, so they will actually potentially have an extra to go at that. So an interesting play. This could definitely provide FaZe with quite a bit of that confidence to contest over towards the Mandel Brick right here. But I mean, in the meantime, also we are just awaiting that airdrop to come on down. Not quite sure exactly where it is going to pop. In fact, it seems like it is going to be coming down on that far southern side. So a team like SSG, they are right there in the setup, right? They are super close to that. Ooh, and a few of the coffee beans coming into play here as well.
I know. I might have to get some of my own, man. That's 345k of coffee beans. That's big time stuff there. WKF pulling a lot of the same, picking up nearly 300k. These reds are nice, but again, you're needing 2 million to even score an extra point just from your supply points. So a big standoff happening around Museum is going to allow some of these other teams to come play around Brick as well. Everybody knows the Brick hasn't been grabbed yet, so they might slow walk this direction and get involved in the party. You see, it looks like SSG is making a big rotation from the Tower of Babel all the way up. They started on the far south and have rotated all the way up to the Brick. They're now on your mini-map right now, coming in the southern side of this courtyard outside of Museum. That courtyard area coming in the south angle. I'm not surprised they don't just run through because they're going to get gunned down if they do. It looks like maybe while we're looking at this standoff, SSG's actually found LSZ on the far left angle. Both these two teams rotating from their spawns and rotating from their early looting positions to come play for Brick because nobody's grabbed it yet. Let's see maybe a first blood from either this engagement or actually looks like Nightmare also flanking on the backside of Liquids. This is surprisingly, TK, I think our first fight's going to be away from the Brick.
Yeah, I mean, they decided, you know, let's just get our flank on. And of course, you got to watch out for that attack helicopter as well, as that could definitely look to ruin your day.
Well,
but one thing that I'm surprised about, though, is SSG, right? They came back empty-handed pretty much all the way from that far southern side, right? They were at Babel, and they didn't loot anything over there.
Yeah, maybe just a quick look around, didn't find anything, and wanted to get over to the Brick. If I know SSG, they don't care too much about loot. They're looking for kills, and they're looking for bricks. But speaking of bricks, EG, Evil Geniuses, I told you, they're probably going to be first to the Brick. They waited for an opportune moment, smoked it, and ran. They grabbed the Brick. They have no business doing anything around Museum, so they're going to swing all the way over around Camp, put it at Asara Camp, put it in the decoding station on the eastern side of the map, and hold a position that they know is cleared. Nobody came from this angle. They know the spawns and where people rotated from. They spotted a lot of people in transition. They dropped this decoding station, and now they're going to hold. This is actually one of my favorite decoding stations. There's some really interesting fights that can happen from the high ground position. You can see Evil Geniuses may set up on the top of some of these like tin roofs, looking over some of these choke points. We'll see if anybody decides to chow them early or if everybody's going to kind of all come up together probably pretty late.
Well, they are going to be looking to play a lot more of a strategic position here. WKF, though, they are going to be getting their hands on all the group over in the loot box, as Mumu is going to be trying to do a few quick scopes. There we go. Taking down the scavs just to help clean out the area. But now it's just a bit of a waiting game here for EG, right? FaZe is going to be the first team to try and test their defensive positions. It doesn't seem like FaZe is all too phased, right? They kind of just strategically moving up, keeping their distance, so they don't want to get caught in an unnecessary fight.
It's actually a pretty big moment. We also did see off screen, you see WKF, their profits skyrocketed. They actually picked up, that was Lapua ammo, so that's an AWM that they found in the airdrop. I told you, there's airdrops, there's metal bricks, it's chaos. Now this AWM, it's one of the few that you can actually use on this map to find a ton of value with. That incredibly strong. So watch out for a sniper from WKF, who's actually just off of our mini-map. SSG's entering our mini-map. WKF in the pink is going to be on the north side of Evil Geniuses in the green. Look at him now. This is about to be a humongous sandwich, and EG, unfortunately, is going to be the meat in that sandwich. This is going to be rough for Evil Geniuses. Let's see if they can hold.
Yeah, I think one operator on the team that they're going to be facing off against is a very bold move. Best of luck to them, but they are going to be properly tested to see can they actually hold on to that defensive. And I don't think any kind of regrouping is going to be enough for them to contest 9 other players pushing in on their position. So let's see how this goes. It is going to be Loco just getting ready for a bit of an altercation here with SSG moving up. They could be the first team to start the snowball.
Yeah, that's one. This spot right here is what I was talking about on the 10 roofs here with Loco. Got a really nice angle over the top on this choke point. And they've actually built the cover on the backside, so he just can't get shot in the feet from low ground over where Articuno's holding with Muo. Really strong position to hold one choke point. Now, a bunch of time has ticked away. It was 4 minutes to start, and it looks like Killzone has actually got first blood yet again. SSG have taken down Snows from FaZe. FaZe now a duo, trying to figure out if they want to try to still play for this Brick amidst the chaos, or try to get their buddy up while SSG are rotating aggressively towards Brick. You see yellow pouring in on the minimap as Evil Geniuses are under heavy fire from all of this utility. We got drones, we got all types of stuff. Frags, shock arrows. I mean, there's a ton of stuff happening all at the same time. Gizmos are going crazy is what that is. I see electricity, I'm thinking Lunas. We don't have Lunas, it's just all gizmos all over the map. Watch out for the spiders.
Yeah, you gotta have a good bit of a deterrent coming through into this one. But I think this altercation, or the way this engagement is actually working out here for EG is not that bad at all, right? Because FaZe and SSG, they're kind of bumping heads, trying to be the first team to get over onto that mantle break. In the meantime, EG, they just got to find a few of those stragglers, just keep that defensive line going. We do see everything now being thrown at them. And of course, again, it is such a difficult position trying to contest with that double Shepherd
20.
moving in from FaZe.
20 seconds. Airdrops landing at the same time, but all we care about is the brick right now. Evil Geniuses, I thought there was no way they were going to withstand the pressure of everybody else, but everybody else is just shooting each other. Evil Geniuses are going to get this for free, or is FaZe going to make a hero play? FaZe stick it. Snows gets on it, but he gets stuffed at the line. He had maybe half a second left on the steal, and Evil Geniuses get our first brick. Fortune favors the bold in map number 2. They grab the brick, they put it in the decoding station, and they're able to top the leaderboards regardless of what happens and only lose one player. DK, what a move from Evil Geniuses. Great composure amidst all that utility.
I mean, what a big brain strategy, right? I now understand why you said this is your favorite decoding station, because, I mean, if you play the angle like EG did, it's just almost right. You can just plonk it down and let the teams fight each other. And at the same time, you just got to keep that defensive line pretty dang strong. So yeah, big GG going out to EG there. But now let's see what the rest of the lobby is going to do, because now the focus shifts onto those kills. Right now, you can get quite aggressive and look to find as much as you possibly can. And there's also still potentially an extraction available.
That's totally true. Yeah, and this is one of my favorites because usually it's a ton of chaos because you have such a strong choke point on the south side. SSG was pinned, and they were just saying, well, let's just, guys, somebody will come to the north. Somebody will come to our aid and make sure that EG just can't hold us. Nobody pushed. Everybody was too timid on the north side. FaZe tried to come up the stairs. WKF never came into the party at all. They were just holding north, expecting, I guess, to get a gift or just not wanting to throw the game away here in map 2. But because of that, Evil Geniuses just won the filibuster. Like, they just sat there, it took the brick, and nobody really chowed them. They just had to kill one player. And speaking of killing one player, Poppy from LSC finds the right angle on Skies, and in the meantime, they're getting shot in the back by Nightmare. The 3-team battle's happening off brick now, as LSZ is in a bit of trouble, and Meg is on the bow. Bowmaster reigning supreme, but he can't hit the second shot. In the util, proning out, dodging arrows left, right, and center. What am I watching? This is Delta Force, baby, but this is looking like a movie.
Absolute insanity, and we just love to see it all happen right here on screen. In the meantime, WKF, though, they're going to be popping champagne as they are getting their hands on some of the reds there. But of course, now it is going to be those airdrops absolutely gobbled up by them, and they are having a field day. 2.5 mil in profits already secured. It's now going to be Megs, though, to be tested as SSG starts to push on through. I think the only unfortunate thing about this crossbow is that you just can't fire it off quick enough. And yep, there we go. Meg getting absolutely decimated as the push comes through, and out they go.
Out they go. We see FaZe get fully eliminated off screen by WKF while that was going on. Liquids LSZ out of here as well. The bow is strong, but unfortunately, with this many gizmos on the map, those little spiders are going to find you hiding in all these corners. That's where they like to make their home. Nightmare here, a full team of 3, trying to hunt down the duo that is SSG. And it looks like Evil Geniuses are actually on the opposite side of them, while WKF are trying to pinch onto Nightmare. It's just this stacked line of teams trying to figure out who makes the first mistake, yes, but also who can get the first knock and give themselves player advantage for these engagements. Equal plays with some height here, trying to play over the top of 2 Easy, and then vice versa. Now Easy having height, but right now, SSG is just trying to wait and wait for somebody to just walk into their sight lines, just like their player went down. One small mistake, you lose a player, and it's possible, but SSG in deep trouble. Skies, no Easy! Evil Genius is in trouble, and there's a shoulder. That's all you need. Loco able to answer back.
Yeah, Loco doing some crazy things right here, but it is going to help to strengthen that team up as there's still an opportunity to bring the full squad back on their feet. And, I mean, especially with Loco on the defensive, right, this is exactly the kind of position that they need to try and capitalize on. The setup here is absolutely golden as there's now 2 squads pushing up towards them. But a quick retreat coming through from the side of Nightmare as SSG now kind of left to fend for themselves. Are they going to be able to get themselves secured? Too easy now. Going to be pressured. But again, EG, I like this. They're keeping a respective space, right? Not going to be pushing up too much just yet. They want to gather as much information as they can find here. But in the meantime, that allows Nightmare to just encroach on the position, getting closer and closer. They could maybe steal those kills.
It's certainly possible. What they're playing for right now is the extraction zone. WKF have 2 out of 3 members on it. You see them off in the distance. That's an extraction zone out in the corner. You actually see the timer of it, 3 minutes and 50 seconds versus 4 minutes and 10. Yet again, very close to not getting the extract, but it is open, out in the open. And too easy. He's trying to play this slow and use whatever utility he can to slow down any advances towards him. These spiders are ratting out, looking for something to hunt. Here comes the EMP. Too easy, in deep trouble. Loco's not missing. Loco truly is that guy. A nice swing from Evil Geniuses and a nice pickup. They not only get the brick, they wipe SSG, who is technically in first place. Things are looking great for Evil Geniuses. The question is, do you know? Yes, now you do. This is why you run a Luru. Gotta have that intel. Evil Genius is gonna swing on this. They feel like they have the advantage. They got nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's going to be them trying to flush it out. Loco going in for the finish. Picks up the 1. Picks up 2. Artaguno getting traded off. Oh, Nightmare, though, is going to be in a world of pain as Evil Geniuses are looking absolutely relentless. It's going to be DW now trying to defend, but unfortunately can't hold it off as WKF steps up and cleans it up. EG, though, is still sitting on a comfortable 2 mil. They just got to survive if they want to extract with those extra additional points. And it's all going to be down to these final few moments. And, I mean, EG, they've been in a position similar to this before.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is GG's for EG. I don't know if they're going to be able to win this. Articuno, he is that guy as well, but in a 1v3, Crab just swings it, takes him down. Evil Geniuses get a ton of points, but WKF win the map. What a great rep from Evil Geniuses and WKF. I mean, look at the profits. WKF walking out with... They're going to be bumping well over 6. I was about to say 6 mil. And every 2 mil is what matters when it comes to loot value. Also, remember, WKF, they should have an on them somewhere out of the 3 players. They found that Lapua ammo earlier while the fight for the brick was going on. So this is a great game from WKF. And to clean up Evil Geniuses, you may not have gotten the brick, but you've certainly climbed the leaderboard.
Yeah, they might not have gotten the brick, but they are going to get the bank, right? So they are now just going to stuff themselves up as much as they can. And I think the only problem here is going to be, where are they going to put everything, right? That is going to be the question that they'll probably try and answer as best they can. But whatever they decide to do, they're going to have to be quick about it because they've got a minute and a bit of change left on that clock.
Yeah, we saw the there in the inventory for WKF. Overall, really strong map. They are juicing up their loot, and they're going to full extract, like you said. So this is just, oh, wow. I thought it was like, yeah, we might make 8. They're at 9.2 mil. Big shout out to Loco. We said he was shooting straight. 4 kills, holding the line on the choke point as well. Like, stats give us so much info, and it's really cool to see these in real time. But some plays are also totally understated by stats. What Loco was able to do, holding the choke point against SSG to hold the brick, is what allowed them to capture the brick. They only had to look one direction with the other 2 players. Loco held the line against, could have been 2 full teams coming in the southern side. Great job from him, and to still pick up 4 kills. Great map from Evil Geniuses. We play inventory management, we play for the extracts, and we got about 30 seconds to finish up our duties. Got to get to 10 mil. They need 100K more, and that'll be 5 total supply points.
Wow. I mean, this is now... We've now turned back into a loot simulator. Let's see if they can find that last little bit of goop to get themselves over that line. Oh, yep. There they go. 10.1 mil. It is going to be a happy day for WKF. And, I mean, EG, right? The name very fitting. The Evil Geniuses, they've been playing a big brain strategy across the board, but they have a bit of competition here, right? It is going to be that showdown between the amount of assets and, of course, those mantle bricks.
Really well done from WKF, but Evil Geniuses, the biggest winners on map 2, like you said, because of the mantle bricks. It is going to put you at the top of the leaderboard no matter what, folks. I know we flew through the rules, but if you've got questions, ask. Easiest thing to remember, if you get 2 mantle bricks, game is over. Leaderboard, it's sorted by mantle bricks that you have first, then the points. Those total supply points, which is squad points plus kill points, all extremely important, but the mantle bricks, the most important. So EG at the top. But I think WKF, honestly, DK, may jump all the way to 2nd place with the amount of value they found on the map. That was over 10 mil in profits. But talk to me, EG, best team on the map.
Yeah, walking away with those 5 operator kills, 1,500 damage, and well, not a lot of assets being gained, but they got the asset that means the most, right? It is going to be the Mandel Brick, and this is the first time today I'm seeing a round 2 Mandel Brick extract, right? So good to have the Evil Geniuses be the first team to kind of break that break that bar wide open as they now set the standard here for Americas. And of course, now they got to keep that basing going, right? Because they've now set the standard that they need to live up to. But I mean, look at that. W key forever though, 10.1 mil, 6 kills going their way as well. That puts them just over 15 mil in this round alone.
Yeah, ridiculous totals from W Key Forever. Of course, the story is Evil Geniuses. Of course, 5 kills is insane. And of course, the Mandel Brick is the most important thing. But it doesn't understate the fact that W Key Forever put up a meteoric game, too. 10 mil, that's 5 supply points plus 6 kill points. That's an 11-point game in map 2. And they pick up the to move and use in future rounds. Like, that's a big game from them. But again, Loco is a hero for Evil Geniuses to hold the brick and pick up 4 kills. And then you see WKF right behind Crab, Pecky right there at 3 and 3 apiece for their total of 6. But talking about the rest of these stats, top damage, Loco. It's gonna be Loco at the top of the leaderboard. Man, that guy was shooting straight.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely on the money. Did so in the first round, doing so in the second round. But the top assets is going to go over towards, or assisters rather, is going to be Articuno coming through with 5 assists. And I mean, it makes sense, especially looking at how they were trying to just lock down that decoding station. There was quite a bit of work being done by the Evil Geniuses. And of course, as we jump over to the assets, it is going to be WKF Peaky that is going to be walking away with 3.8 mil, just 400k ahead of their teammate there, coming through with 3.4. So WKF having an absolute field day, but it is going to be Crab grabbing our MVP.
Yeah, picking up the MVP with 3 kills, 3 mil, and an assist. That's a fantastic stat line right there, my friend. Nice and evenly balanced. Everything worked out for WKF. The only thing they didn't get was the brick, which unfortunately is the most important part. But they have some big advantages going into the next rounds. I cannot understate this enough or overstate this enough. That is so valuable. AWM, really strong sniper, basically one shots across the board unless you're shooting pinky toes, and even then sometimes it still does. And so you see that you hear that in the game, it totally changes your play style if you're fighting against it, especially once we get to Space City. So a lot to talk about there for that roster. But DK, what do you think? Game 2, very different from game 1. It seems like the mana brick woke everybody up.
Yeah, it was sweaty and I love it, right? I like seeing the pressure being applied out on the battlefield. But yeah, with the AWAM coming in, right? I mean, you can shoot that thing to 350 meters easy. So you got to be super scared, right? Not a little bit scared. You got to be super scared because, as you said, that thing just breaks through armor like it's jelly.
It is very strong, but folks, you won't be seeing it most likely as we move into Tide Prison next. You're not going to want to miss it. Things are going to get sneaky and silent, but still certainly a ton of kills. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Members now the odds are in their favor. 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute sweat.
This. And LG's got to know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts. The last remaining 3 BOV. They find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's going to be hopping out for that.
This court finds that the AI holds no legal responsibility.
But the data, this doesn't add up.
Just do what the AI says.
Priority, protect company assets. Mouth closed.
You destroyed our home!
That dream again.
Gabriel Mercier, codenamed N2, role, engineer. As a former nuclear facility engineer, N2 was removed from his position following a major incident that escalated into legal proceedings. He later returned to military service and was reassigned to Arctic deployment under CBR and related units. With the originally designated technical specialist unable to fulfill operational requirements, and following assessment review, N2 has been approved as a replacement operator for the subsequent operation.
Stun out. Throwing stun. Stun hit. Freeze right there. It's getting cold.
N2 is equipped with a modified grenade launcher, capable of firing up to 6 LN2 grenades. Upon impact, each round detonates and releases a burst of cryogenic gas, dealing area damage and significantly impairing enemy mobility. Sustained hits can fully immobilize targets through extreme low temperature exposure.
Cold. I can go colder.
I'll get you out of here.
The enemy got the mantle bricks. Find it. Stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, not gonna do very much though. When you get barrel stuff, Steiny is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Down, there it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series, America's Day 1, Week 1, and Crab is making sure that his clip is going on the timeline because WKF had a fantastic last map. But the biggest winners were Evil Geniuses. They are the first team to get the Metal Brick, which means they're the first team on match point, but they can't win in the next round, DK. We are going to Tide Prison.
Yes, sir, and that means, of course, there's not going to be a single Mandel brick in sight. It is another, and of course, the final eco round to come through. But looking at the leaderboard, the Evil Geniuses, they are ecoing their way to the top, sitting with that Mandel brick quite comfortably in their bag. 12 total squad points. Even though it's not as much as WKF has, it still places them right at the tippery top. As you said before, right? Mandel brick is going to be the big decider as to who is sitting in pole position.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Great breakdown. Mandelbrick first, then squad points. So you can see the rankings there. W Key Forever, WKF at 15 squad points. They will be in second place as expected. They had a gigantic map too, and they pick up the AWM to use a little bit later. But we go to Tide Prison, folks, and things are going to change pace. It may actually feel a little bit more similar to Zero Dam at the way it played in Americas, because as we look at our operator pool, we know what we're going to be seeing. Mr. DK, we're going to be seeing a lot of Noxes and a lot of Hat Claws.
Yeah, I mean, we could be getting a few gizmos also potentially maybe sneaking their way in there. But, you know, you got to bring in as much aggression as you can, especially in such a confined map to play through. But we also going to be looking at a potential bit of cat and mouse coming through here, right? The rich squads, they got to be hunting. You got those squads that need a little bit of those assets. They got to be looking to loot, avoid, and maybe try and protect their path to that extraction. As this is the final opportunity for teams to try and lock it down. But yeah, it's all down to how they can use the aggression to secure themselves the points and the loot they need to find.
Yeah, going to play aggressive. Yes, sneak around corners. Nox is going to be the most valuable operator on the map with his ability to get very, very quiet and even silent as he moves around the map. Disc also valuable as well, but it is all about getting intel and then using that intel to find a team wipe and then finding that team wipe fast enough that you don't get third-partied. Just like any other map, shots go up, it's a signal flare to other teams. You're probably going to see a big fight on the south near the HQ office. You also could see a fight on the north up by pipes even. But the big question mark is who's playing for the airdrop. There's an airdrop on this map, and then there's also a GTI supply mission, which is how you get that AWM or that M82 sniper. So watch out for those. Also, there is a position here to possibly get more of those lucky wooden statues, which does give you the ability to get those gold armor easier or maybe more quickly than your opponents, which is a big note, especially as we get into Space City. But let's take a look at where everybody spawns. You see SSG on the south, may fight Liquids quickly here in the purple on the south side. Question is, where does FaZe rotate to? It looks like they're going to go outside to the south. So 3 teams on the south, 3 teams on the north, as WKF elect to play to the northern side.
Yeah, now it's all going to be down to who is going to be getting their hands on that loot first. Of course, SSG, phenomenal setup that they have here. But like LSZ and FaZe could be bumping heads quite early on here, as both teams are going to be heading to that shoreline. Of course, with all the different layers, it is going to be FaZe. Ooh, I thought that they would have the upper hand, but instead it seems like LSZ, J-Device, is going to be locking in on those hits.
Yeah, great shots from J-Device, at least to make FaZe think twice about peeking this. Quick look at the operators, like you mentioned. Do you see a Saniva, which occasionally makes it into competitive play? It's going to be Meg running a Saniva there. That's going to be from LSC, who's down below. Otherwise, it's Nox, double Nox. As expected, a lot of Noxes on the map. This is how Tide Prison plays. Should be praying because somebody's going to peek around the corner before you can catch them, and they're going to shoot you in the back. But this time in the face, Meg's going to take the zip and just chow this. They've got player advantage, but maybe giving one away. No, Snows runs out of ammo before he gets one knock. This is a full sin on the back of the Saniva operator. Does swing across. Wait, he picks up 2. Snows goes huge. He was the first player down for FaZe in their last engagement in the last map. This time he's got something to prove. Goes massive over the top of Meg on Saniva. It's all down to J-Device.
I mean, this is an absolutely insane play going through from Snow. So let's see whether or not he can lock it in. Just one more player to get the jump on. And FaZe, they seem to mean business moving up into Tide Prison. Up comes the push, and that is it. L Snows gets the job done. 3 kills confirmed. And now comes the easy part, right? Bringing the rest of the squad back up onto their feet. And what a play.
Something to prove, man. Big shout out to FaZe. I could talk about them for a while, but that is a massive play from Snows. FaZe appeared in a lot of our scrims, and they were catching some flack from the chat of the way they were playing or how they were playing. A lot of backseat drivers sometimes in chat. And FaZe says, no, we're going to stick to our game. We're going to do our thing. Everything's fine. And Snow is showing us how valuable of a player he can be. A full team wipe by himself. Picking up 2 reds here for off camera from a couple different teams. Profit matters, but kills matter most. FaZe picking up reses. Big moment. We do need to remember, though, besides Snows, both the other 2 members of FaZe have been to yellow timers. So you see those players go down again and get fulled. They will not get back onto the map. But here we watch EG chill and just relax. Slow things down for us.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do, right? Just got to take a step back, relax, take another breath, and then figure out the next bit of insanity that you are going to look to attempt here. And, well, for the time being, it is going to be SSG just working their way through the main part here, just looking for any potential opportunities to gather as much loot as they can. But it does seem like already quite a bit of the approach that they're taking there has been looted up. And, of course, we did see FaZe taking that exact approach a little while ago. So, curious to see what FaZe is going to look to do moving forward from this point onwards. But now, Nightmare, again, just making sure that they are free to loot as they please. As you can see a lot of these sonars being deployed, and that's actually really good at gathering the information to know whether or not the position is clear.
Definitely hear those footsteps from our side, so I know the players hear them as well. Stacked on top of each other. See what loot we can pull in the meantime. For the side of Nightmare. Some more coffee beans, DK's favorite.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's good, though. That's going to be the big question, right? I'd love to taste those coffee beans. Like, I mean, I hope they're, like, really dark and strong, and because if they are, then I would approve that. Then they could stay red. If not, then we might have to work on getting stronger beans.
Okay, all right, I respect that. I'm a black coffee drinker myself. I like it strong. Listen, I'm looking back on FaZe's stats through the course of some of the scrims that we saw them play in. This is kind of their map, man. They had over 8 million assets in their last scrim, 6 kills last time they played Tide Prison against some of these same teams. Watch out for FaZe getting more and more aggressive on these eco rounds, especially here in Tide Prison. It seems to kind of go for their playstyle. This double Nox playstyle is really strong often. Watch out for Blue.
Yeah. What Blue can do, we don't quite know just yet, but we'll find out very, very soon. For the time being, it's a lot of running around coming through from the squads. I mean, FaZe, of course, the team with the most profits in their bag as well. So, curious to see what the approach is going to be here for EG coming in. I mean, yes, they do have a little bit to capitalize on, but if they want to make sure that they are properly set up heading into round number 4, they're going to have to get their hands in a few bags and try and fill up as best they can. I'm not sure. Are they busy with a mission over here, or what are they up with? It does seem like they're escorting the dude out of the building.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So there's a couple things you can do on this map. Like we mentioned, take a look at the top middle. We've got airdrop preparing. So the airdrop will begin to drop within the next 70 seconds or so. That airdrop will have reds and golds, hopefully reds for whoever goes for it. And then you have the mission. And if you're able to complete the mission, you're able to you crack open the safes. You're able to, it's called the GTI supply mission. It's specialty for esports, but you can do the same mission here in the public lobbies as well. That'll get you the AWM or the M82. But you can also go for some of these wardens. And if you do the wardens, they can drop the lucky wooden sculptures we've been talking so much about. So those can be used to exchange for gold armor, for instance. There's only a couple ways you can get that in the esports server. So that's what you're going to be looking out for, is some of the warden missions and then that GTI supply mission. So in general, some fun things to do on the map, a lot of objectives, but overall, it's usually not too much fighting. Everybody plays nice and slow. SSG does complete our operation. So should see them get some rewards here shortly, and that's exactly what happens. There it is. Kills all getting Lapua ammo, so that's going to be an OM going to SSG. They don't really want to use it on this map because it's an eco round. But maybe save it for a Mantle Brick.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come in quite handy, especially on the Mantle Brick round. You don't want to use up your assets unnecessarily, right? It's all about planning and pacing. That is essentially the name of the game, and when you can find some heavy hitting guns, you got to use them at exactly the right time. And again, it is a little bit of that cat and mouse game coming through once more, as we can see Morse, that ult definitely making it quite difficult for a team to get a surprise play moving over on towards WKF, and they're just looking to capitalize. Even the side of Nightmare here, everybody is just looking to play as much as they can with this Morse position.
That's a good shout. Morse is new to our competitive circuit. We were on Morphosis last time, now on Echo. Echo brought Morse, and that brought much more intel that can be gained from the map. Seeing Morse in competitive play quite a bit. But still all quiet after the early engagement from Liquids and FaZe. FaZe electing to just play for airdrop. You can see its position. 20 seconds now on the south side, right underneath them. And it looks like they've got one of their players down in the water already waiting on this airdrop so they can get that loot. Again, this will be golds and reds. Hopefully they get something nice. Just adds to their total. They're already at 3.1 after looting their opponents. We'll see what they get from it. Everybody else is pretty chill on the map for now. SSG, the only other team that's gotten some nice value on the map. Everybody else kind of relaxed. Let's see what we get from this airdrop. It looks pretty uncontested, but they want to make sure of that. You can very easily get shot from that tunnel.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the basing here. Teams are changing up the dynamic quite a bit here. You see the Warden there off in the distance, and I mean, surprisingly enough, we're not seeing any reds on the floor this time around. I know you were pointing that out in the show match
yeah.
just the other day, and we actually did see that over on EMEA. We did see that big old vacuum cleaner, but yeah. This time around, yeah, there's not much really happening. There we have some reds coming in, a beautiful bit of champagne, and that Rolex, I mean, just in time.
All right, not bad. By the way, Meg's bows clipping away at about 500,000, so nice pickup there for FaZe. But the reds are solid, nothing crazy to write home about. Off screen, by the way, it does look like Killzall sniping away, picks up Snows in transition. Now, they'll be able to pick up this res most likely, but Killzall is on the hunt. They call him the Beast for a reason. This guy gets extremely aggressive. It is hunting for kills. Thinking this is going to be a free one. Maybe in for a bit of a rude awakening, but water play is very difficult to get right. To be careful with the way you play this. So you can only shoot your gun in very specific circumstances. May come down to some util. That disc is going to be really valuable, and then also just knifing away. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, not to mention that you have those lovely big fish in the water as well. So the Sharks could definitely look to make things a little bit more challenging. We've seen a few players actually look to go toe-to-toe with the Sharks and living to tell the tale come the end of the day. But now, let's see what strategy FaZe is going to look to try and capitalize on here as they just keep on circling around already with 4.1 mil profits in the bag. They can afford to just relax a little bit in the water here. But I like this position coming through from Killzall, right? He knows that there's something up ahead of him. Doesn't know exactly what or who or where.
Yeah, he did get a knock on... I think he's got a decent idea it could be FaZe. But yeah, where is the biggest question? Because FaZe have all but absconded all the way across the water, just swimming away. So there's sharks in the water, and they may have guns in their hands. Because Killzall and the crew are hunting down their prey. But now he's got a spot on the backside. Not sure if Pecky sees him. No, back turned. Finding the right angle. Not sure if he's going to pull the trigger on that. You gotta remember, the AWM only comes with 5 shots. Every round is like 100 grand. This is an expensive shot. You gotta make it count if you're gonna use it in an eco round.
Yeah, I mean, you quite literally have to make it count. Otherwise, your eco is gonna start to go downhill quite a bit. But there we go. Snow quickly taking care of a little bit of the macro position. Is of course now alerting SSG as to his position somewhat, but not going to be pulling in that aggressive focus just yet. Meanwhile, EG, though, they're going to be continuing to make their way through up on towards that Warden's position as they look to find a little bit of something happening. WKF just trying to lock it down, patiently awaiting them to push outside, but instead, EG is going to be closing all the entry points.
This is a classic Tide prison fight. The one on the outside was fun to watch. This one is about to get wild. Who opens the door first? Who makes the first mistake? Muo shoots nukes. Another waiting game, DK. We saw this in admin in game 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Muo knows that there's something's up, right? He's just trying to buy as much time as he can, but in the meantime, the rest of the EG squad, as you can see here, they're keeping a very close eye on that water extraction. See if anybody's gonna dare try and pop out of here and look for that free exit. They're gonna look to try and deny that as best they can. But whatever they decide to do, they have to be quick about it, as well, we are running low on time. And there are very limited options with regards to those extractions. So SSG and FaZe, both squads trying to time this extraction to perfection, because both of them have quite a bit of profits that they would love to try and get out of here, especially to set themselves up for that round number 4.
The minimap, you do see Nightmare is in the area. They're looking to third party this. This is the nature of the game. Sometimes you take too long in a fight, chaos is going to erupt. A couple shots exchanged is the signal flare. Nightmare has the info. It's going to be a third party. And yet again, it's going to be EG in the middle of that sandwich. Now, they were able to stay alive last time. This time on Tide Prison, I don't know.
Well, we'll see pretty soon whether or not they've used up all of their luck, or if they still have a little bit left in the tank here. But it's going to be Crab also now looking to just get a good read on what is going on. SSG, though, is going to be the first team up on the extraction point. As they get it secured, they do spot out FaZe, and this is not the extraction of play that FaZe were hoping to get in this round here. But SSG, this is the opportunity to really try and capitalize, and they could even maybe find an extra bit of bank here. Ooh.
They've traded 1 for 1. Easy, maybe going for the resin. Oh no, deal god, and they get the out. Whoa, great timing. They pick up Dio. Remember, Snows was last alive. So when Dio gets knocked in fold, there's nothing you can do. You can't get anything back. They miss the extraction, and they can't even revive their buddy. SSG get the kill, and they all 3 get out. Remember, if you're on the extraction and you're on red timer, if you're crawling, you still extract. Sneaky plays. You're so focused inside. I didn't even look at the game clock and see there's 2.5 minutes left in this map. We're running out of daylight. And Spacestation Gaming might be the only team to full extract.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's not a bad thing for them, right? 3.4 mil in the bag. It is going to be beautiful setup going into Space City. But now it's still up to Nightmare to see, can they get aggressive and try and capitalize on those kills? Because they still have quite a bit of a way to go. And I mean, that holds true for everybody else in this lobby. The extractions definitely being an option that they can't really look to play for. So now it's just use as much of that aggression as you can. And I mean, there's an absolute plethora of players still remaining in this round.
Running out of daylight, though. Everybody's got to be looking for kills right now. Maybe you could send somebody through the water, no bag, and see if you can save a little bit of profits. Maybe if you're FaZe, you go for something like that. But for now, we're looking for kills. Reminder, every kill is 1 point and 800K. I cannot emphasize that enough. 1 point is the same in supply points as 2 million technicality that you find on the map in profits. That is a ton of value, let alone the 800K you just get on top of that 1 point. So teams are going to be fighting here in the last 60 seconds. They're not worried about extracting, not yet. At least not right now, especially when they got a full team of 3 and they've got some prey in their sights. But who's going to actually strike first? Somebody's going to have to make the first move, and it might be Nightmare. FaZe shot in the back by EG. Loco getting paid for a free kill. Sudoka last alive for his team. Gonna have to be the hero. While Nightmare swarms on WKF. We swing over to Nightmare. What are they doing? They find, yes, 1. Where's the second? WKF still have 2. And they're deep in the flash, deep in the smoke, deep in the util. Crab trying to land anything he can get his hands on. He can't get anything. Nightmare have, yes, 1 down, but 2 full up. It's going to be Evil Genius who's fighting the last remaining member of FaZe. It's Utter Chaos breaking out in the last 60 seconds because there's nothing else to do. You got to fight. And Nightmare getting better. at least probably the most value from it. But down go FaZe finally. WKF do get one player out, and DK, Evil Genius is the only team with full 3 alive, but there's only 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, is anything going to happen here? Potentially, maybe, right? The TTK is going to come into full swing here. As you can see, locking in, gets the one in the back, gets 2. And now can they get the full wipe? Oh, they're going to try so hard to get that full wipe ongoing, but unfortunately, the timer says no, right? You can already get so close, and EG again trying to capitalize on as much of that carnage as they can find here.
Final 2 minutes, utter chaos, because there was nothing else to do besides just somebody's got to make the move now. You're up against the clock. Evil Geniuses do pick up 2 on Nightmare. They pick up 1 on FaZe. Again, that's 3 points plus 2.4 mil just from those 3 kills alone in the final 2 minutes. A great move yet again from Evil Geniuses to close out the round in style, and they will pick up best team because they had a kill earlier. 4 total kills between the 3 of them. Yes, hardly any assets gained because, well, frankly, they didn't make it out of the map, but still did well. 4 kills, 4 points, 3.2 mil in total. Won't quite make it to 2 supply points, but still a solid map.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, they're the team with the most kills in this round as well. So that is going to just keep on banking for them. And I mean, this is the strategy, right? If you can't get your hand on a mandal break, go for those kills. Look to get as aggressive as you can. But of course, at the end of the day, SSG, they were still able to extract with that 3.4 mil in the bag with that 1 kill coming their way as well. So yeah, still making some money as far as they go.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you could count your winners a couple different places, but it's SSG and it's EG for sure. You find a ton of value you're able to get out of the map with, as well as for EG, you just find a ton of kills, which equals that value mostly. So solid rep from both of them, but Snows picks up top Slayer, top killer on the map because he picks up a 3-piece by himself against that Liquids roster that gets wiped first. So a big rep from him, but then the top damage Loco is just putting damage all the way around the map. Only a couple kills, but it was still well worth it to do that much damage in those final couple moments because those points desperately are needed if we get into the tiebreakers.
Yeah, you're going to have to try and find anything you can. Of course, taking a look at our assists here, it is going to be equal to sit at the top of that board, but up comes Killzal with a beautiful 1.9 assets earned in this round. WKF, though, pretty close to that. But SSG, they are just locking this one down. 3 million in assets between only 2 of their players. So a really good run for them right here on Tide. But now the big question is going to be, of course, well, we have our answer. It is a very equal play as none other than Equal himself to take the MVP for round number 3. 2 kills and 507 damage to accompany that.
Great job from Equal Plays, man. I like this Nightmare roster a lot. I'm excited to see what they do in the next round as we go into what will be the Space City Marathon. My goodness, DK, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Americas region in the first 3 maps. It is a little bit different than I thought. It was a little bit slower than I thought. But Mana Brick round on Brakkesh was a ton of fun. So I'm expecting a lot of the same as we go into Space City here in just a moment. What do you think?
Yeah, I need to go get my popcorn. That's what I need. I need popcorn ready for Space City because it's going to be popping off. I'm going to need to stuff my face or something. It's just like, yeah. Look, there they go.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I think the directive of an objective is going to help some of our teams play a little bit more aggressive or at least look for some more kills on the map. But folks, I do need to remind you before we head to this short break, this could be the last round. Watch out for Evil Geniuses. If they get this brick, we are done here in map number 4. You're not going to want to miss it. Headed to Space City in just a moment.
Members now the odds are in their favor 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute sweep.
This. And LG's got him they're here. Lines them up even through the shot. You're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOB, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's going to be hopping off that.
welcome back to the Delta Force Pro Tip. Spacing is everything in competitive operations. While some regions prefer a slow, calculated turtle setup, the Americas region is defined by explosive, high momentum pushes that catches opponents completely off guard. Now, today we are going to be breaking down a legendary cleanup engagement from round 3 on Brakkesh. Joining me on the couch to share his pro tips is going to be the star fragger from the Evil Geniuses. Welcome.
How you doing, guys? My name is Tony, otherwise known as Articuno.
So let's roll the footage, right? We are going to be dropping right into the action around 1 hour 56 minute mark, where the fight inside the transit building reaches a boiling point. Well, so Articuno, the first fight ends incredibly quickly, right? But instead of slowing down, your team immediately shifts the attention into the extraction behind you, right? So what information were you working with that told you there was still another opportunity for you to capitalize on?
Going into the round, obviously, we knew exactly what was going on prior to this. There's a lot of context clues that aren't shown just within this very snippet. We knew who we fought prior to this. We knew where the spawns came from, so we knew the general area of where the teams were coming from. We also knew there was a team directly on the extract fighting for it. And then we knew there was a team coming from the Babel spawn. One of the Babel teams was coming. So we knew at any point in time we can get shot from the side, but coming from the alley, we knew everyone was directly in front of us. So we kind of just isolated our fights immediately after the alleyway fight, and we shifted our attention that way.
Let's talk about that transition, right? So from our perspective, it happens almost instantly. What kind of communication is taking place between securing that first elimination and committing to the extraction fight?
Coming out of the alley, the reason why we transitioned so quickly is because it's not shown on the camera or shown on screen, but Mumu actually, my teammate Mumu, he directly gets a pick on the extract team. He's the guy peeking over the Humvee, but over the fences, and Mumu directly picks him off, and then immediately gets another one towards the flight cases on the left. So knowing that, we knew we had an opportunity to just take our fight, but we immediately after that, we figured out there was a team or there was a player in the blue tarps directly like on our right. So me and Loco, we agreed that we should isolate this one individual person, and that's exactly what we did. And then it creates an avenue of we have all the space towards the actual alleyway or on the extract, and that way we can kind of funnel ourselves in and we slowly make our way in.
Watching this back, right, what do you think is the biggest mistake the other team made that gave you the opportunity to capitalize?
I was definitely picking Mumu. that's an issue that a lot of people do. Some people are they want to get that first entry kill, and it is very important to get that first kill, and that's why I believe in Mumu. I believe in Loco to do those things kind of for me. I don't always have to necessarily do those things, because it's extremely important. Getting the one-man advantage is always important in any engagement, no matter how many teams are in the fight. But in that scenario, Mumu actually got 2, so that, like I said, it gives us that confidence. It's confidence and an advantage to strictly just run in if we wanted to.
The final question for all the operators watching at home, right? If there's one pro tip that they should take away from this clip, what would it be?
Decisive. It's always about working as a team, ensuring that you have everything covered for the most part. Try to get all the information you possibly have on a situation. Obviously, there's certain things you can't know about, like what gun someone's using, who's shooting where, who's shooting who. But it's always about having the information available that is given to you, because in the grand scheme of things, a lot of things are presented to you. It's just a matter of just collecting it and deciding on what to do off of it.
With a flawless demonstration of aggressive target switching and elite map discipline from Never Lose, you got to read the feed, you got to clean those corners, and then of course never stay at the party too long. Thank you so much, Articuno, for sharing these pro tips with us today. And to all our operators at home, keep the pacing high, and we'll see you in the next pro tips.
Got the Mandel bricks. Find it. Stop them. Mandel bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
Not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There's so much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series America's Day 1, Week 1, and a tough start there for Liquids. J-Device looking to come back into the next round and turn things around, but Kills all smiles because Spacestation Gaming, the only team to get out of the map, full team of 3, as they battled on the water against FaZe and won that encounter and got out with a ton of loot.
Yeah. So they swam to the top, right? Look at how much to the top they swam there. As you can see, the points trying to be secured. Of course, that puts them on a very comfortable 14 squad points. And I mean, they're doing some work out of here, but you know, there's one team that's just capitalizing on everything at this point, right? Kill points, squad points, and that's of course none other than the Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses look really strong right now. I mean, first and foremost, they're at the top of the leaderboard because of the mana brick. You can delete everything on the right-hand side. It's all mana brick all day, right? They're at the top. But then you look at every other category, and besides supply points, their kill points are double second place right now. They have 17 total squad points, so they'd be at the top regardless of the mana brick. Evil Geniuses are doing what they want on the map, and they're doing it extremely well. I gotta shout out my boy Articuno. This kid is different. He's been playing this game for a really long time. He actually made an appearance on LAN in China. Big shout out to 60MG in the chat as well, who went there with him. A little bit of a different roster. They made some roster changes. They were under Never Lose. I saw that great interview you had with them. Evil Geniuses pick up a really good squad, and they're crushing it in day 1 here, TK.
Yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job. There's not much that you can fault coming through from the side there of EG. And I think that loadout with Articuno, Loco, and Mumu, yeah, it's a winning combo for them. And I'm curious to see what they're going to look to do once they step up into Space City. But I think this is going to be another opportunity for SSG also to look to rise to the occasion, right? Because both the teams with the G's in their name, man, they are just bringing so much heat out onto the rounds that we've had so far. But the big question is going to be, which operators are they going to go for?
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, when we move to Space City, the meta is pretty consistent. You're going to see a lot of Toxics and or Stingers for the smokes and the healing. And then you're going to see a ton of Lunas because you got to have recon arrows to be able to play on this map. You got to have intel. Luna's a great way to get that. And then, of course, the big question mark is Tempest. Some teams prefer to use Tempest in the very first mana brick round on Space City. Some prefer to save it. I would say right now, with the way Evil Geniuses is playing, I'd be using Tempest on this map. So you'll probably see a red-haired Tempest on every single team. Why is Tempest so good? It's very easy to understand. The quote-unquote ultimate ability, emergency evasion device, you drop the tether, you can run forward. If you get knocked while that ult is active, it'll zip you all the way back to where you tethered it, and you can self-revive. The strongest ability in the game when it comes to this format with mana bricks. It's good for stealing the mana bricks from the decoding station, and it's very good from stealing the mana brick from its spawn, DK.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be the usage for it here, and so we'll see who exactly has decided to include that Tempest in their loadout. And of course, jumping straight over onto the side here of WKF, wow. They have Tempest over on their side, and we do see quite a decent serving of that. EG, the only team out here that has decided to not go for that Tempest loadout. So curious as to what their approach will be, but it is absolute carnage right out of the gate.
Yeah, lots to talk about with metas, but we do have to pay attention to Nightmare. That is the classic trap at Westgate. You gotta be careful with the dormitory spawn. They usually full send. What was even more scary about that is, remember, WKF have that sniper they picked up in the earlier rounds. They got a ton of loot, and they're bringing it out the big guns as we move into Space City. Nightmare, luckily or skillfully, was able to smoke up and stay alive with a very difficult but tier 1 spawn. It does get them very close to the mana brick. They actually get to the center of map first, DK, so watch out for Nightmare trying to grab the brick at the very beginning.
Yeah, that is going to be the name of the game here. And of course, already we see quite a few teams just full sending it up into that central position. But it is going to be LSZ, though, that is going to be going for the loot option as they do get their hands on a little bit of that group along the way. Already looking to increase the overall amount of profits that they have here. But it's going to be Nightmare trying to bring their team back onto full swing. And we do see 2 squads, though, coming in with that gold armor. So that is going to make things quite interesting, especially for EG. They don't have that Tempest loadout, so they're gonna have to be very sneaky when they want to contest for that medal.
Yeah, I actually quite like this play from Evil Geniuses. They don't need a win in round 4. They just need a win in general. This is a great map for them to come in with the advantage of gold armor, be able to win some engagements, even if they're at a slight disadvantage in the fights, and still potentially get the brick, but also save the Tempest for later rounds. They already have a brick. If it goes to game 6, game 7, they've got a great opportunity to have only one of the only Tempests on the map to potentially close out this tournament. So watch out for that in the later rounds if we get there, but you never know.
Yeah, we'll find out soon. And there we go. Ooh, a good attempt at the at the steal there, but unfortunately not working out quite just yet. And I mean, we're going to be potentially looking at quite a bit of that, right? All the back and forth coming in as all the Tempests are going to try and test themselves out to see, are they worthy enough to pick up our very first Mantle Brick here?
Yeah, Space City Mantle Brick is, as you can tell, wide out in the open. But using Tempest Ultoff's cooldown would be nice. And as you can see on the right, again, Evil Geniuses, they're in match point right now. If they get this Mantle Brick decoded fully, again, they, of course, will win the competition. A couple weird nuance things that have changed. One thing in particular I want to shout out. In the past, there used to be a notification when the team that is on match point puts the brick into the decoding station. They took that out. That does not happen anymore. So everybody has to be aware that if the Mantle Brick's at a decoding station, it could be, if we don't know who it is, it could be the team that can end the tournament right here. So watch out for that as well. Brick, by the way, you see the timer top middle. It's because technically the brick was grabbed, but they were killed immediately. So the brick's actually on the ground. So Mumu was able to grab it very quickly and sprint away. Didn't even have to use the Tempest Ult off CD. Just grabbed D-Wolf and ran for it with the exoskeleton and run a little bit faster, and it worked out well with it on the ground. Nice little assist from Nightmare. EG on the run.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one team to kind of test the meta, I guess it's going to be the Evil Geniuses, right? They've got a plan. They're cooking. There's something brewing over on that end. So let's see, can they be the first team to come through with a double brick play? Is it going to end right here on round number 4? We don't know quite yet, but it is going to be Killzol that is going to be defending that bridge, just trying to pop off a few hints, making sure that nobody's going to be testing the water alongside him. But Meg, again, the confidence coming through from Meg, pushing in here with a compound bow against all these other weapons. I mean, come on.
The Bowmaster Meg themselves. Excited to see Meg pop off. Desperately needs to, by the way, as we move into what could be the last game right now. This is a great play yet again from Evil Geniuses. We've seen this a couple times in scrims. This is the test workshop decoding station. It's not brand new, but it's newer in terms of the competitive format. Evil Geniuses was able to get the brick and run all the way over the bridge or under the bridge that they had control of. Evil Geniuses is nearly alone at Test Workshop. Everybody's gonna have to come to them, and Evil Geniuses have the high ground. While in the meantime, on main, SSG are in a bit of trouble, trying to smoke and run and help out their buddy. A nice bait there from Killzol to full send across while his teammate grabs the body. That worked out near perfectly for SSG.
Yeah, some interesting angles that they've got going on right here. And I mean, Killzol definitely going to try and just push this a little bit further on. But now Articuno is going to be popping down that Morse ult just to gather information and see exactly where everybody else is situated. Well, in the meantime, will they dig underground? And now Meg is going to be put to the full test here, as there is going to be that full SSG send heading right in Meg's direction.
Big fight happening here on main, but also off screen. Evil Geniuses are under a bit of pressure. SSG are going to sprint that direction as well. But you can tell, even on X-Ray, look at where Evil Geniuses are at. They're way back behind the truck. A strong position, but they had to abdicate from the bridge. A couple teams are pushing up here. You see FaZe. You see Nightmare. All underneath already and aggressively pushing. Evil Geniuses want to play this backside because they can cover the brick effectively without getting shot from a distance with a sniper.
That's kind of the worst momentum breaker right there, right? I mean, if you get hit at range, especially if you're not quite sure where exactly those shots came from, that really makes you wonder whether or not it is safe to venture outside. But now it is going to be FaZe also just patiently trying to formulate a strategy. How are they going to look to contest this? And I mean, even with Nightmare right there alongside them, it is going to be a very challenging play. So I think the Evil Genius is definitely once more putting the entire lobby to the test to see who has the goal to try and challenge them for that mantle brick.
This is a strong play from Evil Geniuses. They burned so much of the clock as everybody else rotated towards the brick. It is about to be utter chaos because there's only 70 seconds left. Loco able to put up a little bit of cover here on the backside of the truck, and it's actually going to be WKF first to the brick. Killzall landing a shot over the top of Loco and cleaning him up. With Tempest off CD, WKF, they steal the brick away and reset the timer, and Killzall and SSG have showed up perfectly timed to the party to cripple Evil Geniuses and make sure they don't win it right here.
Well, let's see, can they fend them off? Can they hold on as the pressure is going to continue to mount here? WKF, though, good change up, but that is going to be forcing EG to reconsider their approach. As you can see those total scores, they have changed up considerably as EG are now down to 16 points behind SSG and WKF. Of course, that metal brick is what's keeping them up in pole position, but if WKF can secure the decode over here, that is going to be their ticket to reclaim, or rather retake that pole position from the hands of EG. So if anything, EG needs to try and find a few plays, and Killzall is going to be challenging them, just rushing straight up onto them. Mumu and Articuno, oh, I hope you're ready for this.
Yeah, they're going to try to pinch this. They've got some intel at where the last remaining members of Evil Geniuses are. They're also needing to pay attention to the brick as well, but they've got to hunt down these players. They can't afford to get shot in the back, and they know amidst the chaos, it's certainly possible. So on the hunt they go. The two remaining members of Evil Geniuses are proned out right on top of each other, waiting for somebody to step right above them. They pop up, peekaboo. It's whack-a-mole time, except the mole whacks you. That's what's about to happen for Evil Geniuses if they can pull this off effectively.
It's all a bit of a waiting game. I'm not quite sure who is the one with the hammer in the hand, but we'll find out pretty soon. Mandelbrick still now getting into dangerous territory. As you can see, just under 2 minutes, almost 90 seconds left on the clock. And this is going to cause quite a bit of a chaotic push coming forward. But I like what SSG is doing, just trying to lock down EG's potential escape from this route here.
Oh, they got him.
Not going to be backing up, but now the information is there. But of course, right, EG, they also have their own bit of recon coming in.
Yeah, that was so late that SSG got this intel. Killzall's still going to get to the brick. Nightmare backed off from this push, feeling the pressure from a couple other teams in the area. You got WKF above them. You've actually got Liquids looking over them in the purple. Nightmare didn't push up, and it afforded Killzall the opportunity to make a big play here. Here goes Nightmare, though. They may try to just immediately retake. Killzall's got a nice angle, but Equal goes prone just enough that he's able to steal it right back. So Nightmare in charge now, and in a pretty solid position. As long as FaZe and Liquids don't push at the exact same time, Nightmare's going to be tough to deal with.
But it does seem like SSG is up for the challenge here. They are going to keep the angles pretty tight. Not quite sure how this is going to pan out for them, though, as we do also have WKF now looking to contest yet again, moving forward. Oh, here they go. Setup is about to come for a full send. A quick, effortless play on towards that. Oh, on towards the battle break. Gets it bagged up, and out they go. And now the next team can look to step forward and challenge that once more.
I told you, EED, baby. Emergency evasion device. Tempest's so dang powerful. Killzall trying to stick it as well. Thinking better of the immediate retake. Backs up and actually takes enough damage there. He wants to pop the ult and get back to safety. In the meantime, FaZe, Mr. Diogod feels like this is the perfect opportunity to steal it for myself. And he was right. Able to get it. Able to get back to safety. Yes. Good grief. That was a long run. Well timed. I think he's played that one out before.
Yeah, it does seem very familiar to them, the whole strategy. But now it's all going to be down to who can bag it up next. Of course, just over a minute currently on the clock here. FaZe not going to be on that break to defend it, right? They've pretty much come to the conclusion that that is not necessarily the spot where you're going to get stuck into an engagement. But there's less than a minute left on the clock, and so whomever is going to look to try and contest that needs to do it right about now. You can see EG starting to get themselves set up. SSG is still trying to pressure them, trying to lock them down. But I like how Mumu has been able to kind of navigate his way through this and keep on changing the position here.
37 seconds and counting. We'll stay online at the brick with their observers as we can, but it looks like Seabot's actually found Killzall with the sniper across the board. That's going to be the that he just used to put SSG down and cripple them. But only 24 seconds on the clock. Where's the brick? Who's going for it? Currently, no one. And FaZe are not even near this brick right now. They may get it for free if somebody doesn't make a move. Jada Vise and Equal Plays are doing it at the exact same time. Who gets it? Equal Plays shoots him down. Equal Plays gets the steal as well. Nightmare able to have ice in the veins. FaZe were way back away, not even trying to win right there, just trying to get the reset from earlier. And they're like, is somebody gonna steal from us? Or are they gonna all kill each other? We get a free brick? No. Nothing's free when Equal Plays is on the board. Nightmare back in control, and we're at minimum timer, DK. Every time this gets stolen, it's going to go to 90 seconds over and over and over again. And who knows, we may run out of game time.
Let's see. I mean, we're kind of expecting this to happen over here on Space City, but up comes WKF, also looking to get their hands back on towards that decode. Oh, just manages to steal it away. But as we know, at the end of the day, only one team can be the final team to get their hands on that decode. And let's see who it will be. So far, EG, though, still being pressured on that far side by SSG. Meanwhile, FaZe up in the business end of things as they're looking to get down with the plays here. Oh, EG now trying to contest this. SSG gets dropped down to 2, almost getting the wipe, and down they go!
A huge fight. Evil Geniuses in a 2v3. They lose Skies. They lose too easy. Killzall, the beast, last alive, and he's absconding. He can't fight them 1v2 right now, and he's got to pay attention to the brick. Killzall's been in this position before. A solo can be a hero as FaZe go for the brick and get to steal. Another 90 seconds on the clock. Everything reset for a moment. Everybody but SSG can take a breather. Liquids have lost 1. Evil Geniuses will not get their 3rd back. But Articuno goes gigantic with Mumu to get the 2v2 win and make Killzall run for the hills. Wow, what a game.
Oh, man. Absolute insanity unfolding here. But, of course, it is far from over. We still have just under a minute left on that clock, and any team could be the next one to step up and give it a bit of a go here. WKF, though, keeping it under lockdown, trying to see if they can find a way to get their teammate right up to pull the upset. Nightmare also going to be opting for a bit of an angle. Up they come. Oh, but FaZe playing onto WKF. Diogod picking up a beautiful spray, and now, no. Killzall is going to get found out.
He does have his Tempest ult on CD. No, he didn't. He's got an X. He's out. Killzall is full gone. Evil Genius has wiped all of SSG, and Nightmare have reset our timer. There's no way that Evil Genius is going to be able to pull this one out as a duo, but it's certainly possible. Seabot finds another. WKF looking very strong on the top of this bridge, but unfortunately, it's all Seabots now as a solo, as Nightmare does find Mumu off screen. Evil Genius is down to a solo. WKF down to a solo. Nightmare a full trio and currently decoding the brick. It's chaos as expected, and we can only afford, now it looks like maybe 1, maybe 2 more steals before we run out of game clock.
Let's see who is going to get this one bagged up. Up comes LSZ, trying to get their hands on it, but Nightmare picking up a cheeky play. But again, right, Nightmare now just looking to capitalize as they push forward. They just need to defend it for a few more seconds, and then it's in the bag, and we are going to go over to round number 5.
20 seconds. This is it. Articuno is going to have to be a hero. Without Tempest, it's going to be difficult. FaZe just full sending this. There's only 10 seconds. They just need to wipe everybody. If they can kill everybody, it can pause. But Nightmare are proned out. They're not going to let themselves go down. 3 seconds. Nightmare, get this. Is anybody going to steal it? No. Yes. Nightmare, get the brick. And they will join the ranks of Evil Geniuses at the top of the leaderboard. Tied with bricks. It comes down to squad points, and Articuno still shooting. Lucas goes down. Articuno lands the util. Just barely couldn't get up from prone fast enough to get the double kill. Evil Genius is still a great rep. Nightmare, even better one. A brick and now 19 total score. And the only players remaining on the map is FaZe with a full trio and Nightmare with a full trio. It's a 3v3 with 90 seconds on the clock for the final fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very hairy position for EG to be in. As you can see, Nightmare now starting to get the snowball rolling yet again. But we do see those hits now coming through from FaZe. They are trying to regain a little bit of territory. And of course, with 13 points on the board, if they get those other 3 operators eliminated, that is going to put them up in potential 3rd place. So they are really out of here trying to do whatever they can. But Nightmare now, they want to try and lock this one down, right? They want to keep that pole position. They want to try and get as much as they can out of this match. And it is going to be a very, very tough position to play through. But look at that. Snow's just popping off yet again.
Snows is popping tape. This guy is crushing it today. Dio God finds one there as well. Getting the cleanup there with Snows. Equal plays in a bit of trouble. Oh, thought he had an angle. Unfortunately, Stams and sells his position. FaZe answer back. And gonna punish the mistake. Nightmare still get the brick. Still a win for them. But now Nightmare down to a solo. It's gonna be Farmer Lucas trying to figure out what he can get his hands on. Is there anything he can put in his safe box to just save some value? And then hopefully, maybe, in the last 20 seconds, pick up a kill, or can he do something else? Could he potentially get out of the map? Sneak out of the map? They're gonna let him get out? No bag on the backside of Test Workshop? The obvious play? Oh, wow. All right. Nice composure here from Farmer Lucas. Great job getting out.
Sometimes obvious is the most unexpected thing to happen right here. But of course, as we know, that is going to be all she wrote. Match is done and dusted. Nightmare walking away with that extraction. A phenomenal play on their end, and equal looking. Yeah, pretty chill about it, right? Not happy, not sad. It's just like, yeah, it was definitely around. That happened.
The kids in chat have been praying for the equal plays, KM. So well earned equal plays, well earned. Farmer Lucas not only get the brick, but also get a player out and get several kills. That's a banger map for Nightmare. What we expected from them, man. This is a star-studded roster. I say this all the time. I've been casting over equal plays since Alpha. This guy was terrorizing show matches back then. He was praying to go pro, and now he's here, man. Congrats. A great map for you. In day 1 of week 1 here with the Delta Force Rise series, 2.2 mil assets gained with the mana brick. Plenty of damage, 4 kills. That's a great map for the guys.
Yeah, I mean, they went farming straight up there, and a pretty good run for them indeed. They were an absolute menace here. As you can see, Farmer Lucas being able to extract with that 2.2 mil as well. So a pretty decent surfing coming through on that end. In fact, the only player managing to get their hands on that extraction. I mean, FaZe tried really hard, but they really doubled down on the aggression, picking up those 5 squad kills. That is exactly what you want to have. But the most kills is going to be coming through from Meg, right? That absolute menace with a compound bow.
That's surprising. I guess they got one on the bridge actually against SSG at the very beginning, and then were part of the reason Liquids were so weak, maybe, or sorry, their opposition was so weak, which was WKF on the bridge from Liquids was Meg. So big shout out to Meg there. But Mr. Dio God pick up the most damage, almost 1,000 damage, and Delta Force, my goodness. Great shots there. And then I was going to say, Articuno's got to pop up somewhere on these leaderboards because he had such a pop-off game. When the thing kind of turned upside down, they got the brick, sure, but everything went upside down and they couldn't figure out where to go. They just go prone in the back, rat out for a little while, and they chow together and they win a very important engagement to really cripple SSG from being able to play the game. But top asset earners goes to Farmer Lucas. Why? Well, he's the only player to get out of the map. So well earned from him. That's an extra point, by the way. That is, there's games, there's tournaments, there's seasons decided by a single squad point. So that one supply point that they pick up there at 2.2 from Farmer Lucas extracting is nice. Could win them a tiebreaker, but equal plays, gets the MVP because he picked up 3 kills and plenty of damage and was a big reason why their team was able to get the brick.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. So GG, well done over to the side there of Nightmare. A very satisfying performance coming through from them. But of course, now the big question we got to be looking at a little bit later on is how much has the rankings changed, right? Who is sitting at the top. And who is just staring at them for the time being, right? Because next up, we're going right back to Space City to have another run and another attempt at that mantle brick.
We got 2 teams on match point. It could be Nightmare. It could be Evil Geniuses. Quick shout, by the way. Drop a follow on all major socials here with Delta Force. You can see their official accounts as well as their esports accounts. And also go check out the game because, look, we love the pro team. We love the Delta Force Rise series, but also Season Meltdown is fantastic as well. Final shot. If you're on Twitch, you can go down to the panels to find that website that DK was talking about. Brand new Delta Force esports website, the Delta Force Rise series website. You can go check that out. It's in the panel on our official Twitch account. You can click that for Americas or EMEA. But folks, we're going to take a short break here in the booth. When we come back, it'll be back on Space City. 2 teams can close it out. And of course, we got to take a look at that leaderboard, so don't go anywhere.
2 members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute sweat.
And LG's got to know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOB, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's going to be hopping off that.
I'll get you out of here.
For some, success is measured by bodies in bags. Maybe that suits them. But to me, it's measured in hearts that keep beating. You with me?
Stop them. Mandel break decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is. Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series Americas, Day 1, Week 1, and we had a very fun first Space City map, and I'm pumped to get into the next. But it was nightmare all day at the very end of the Mandelbrick crazy trade. I mean, it was literally like a merchant's booth, man. We were trading Mandelbricks left, right, and center. That thing went all over the place. Everybody touched it. At the end of the day, Nightmare ended up with it, and that'll put them up at the top with Evil Geniuses, tied in squad points and tied in Mandelbricks. Means we go to kill points as the next tiebreaker, which means Evil Geniuses are still on top, barely.
Yeah, barely, but EG makes it look easy, right? And of course, it's all going to boil down to what the round number 5 is going to have in store for us as well, this could be the end of the show right here, right? If EG or Nightmare step up and they get their hands on that Mandelbrick yet again, it is going to be tickets for the proceedings here today. But of course, that is not going to deter the rest of the squads to try and get their hands on the Mandelbrick as well. SSG, though, doing pretty decent, right? 15 overall squad points is what they have. So only 4 more points to try and kind of even up the standings. But it's all going to come down to how this next round plays out.
That's exactly right. Back to Space City we go, and we'll go again to Space City in round 6 if we get there. Let's talk operators quickly, though. We got, of course, everybody still has a Tempest available. Evil Geniuses still hasn't used one yet. Keep that in mind again, especially as we get to Game 6. When people start running out of their Tempest, Evil Geniuses still might have one. Other than that, any quick hits here from the operator category that you see?
No, but I mean, again, right, you're going to have to try and play as strategic as you can. And I like the way that the teams have actually been looking to change up the meta a little bit, right? We have been having a few of those engineers also coming into the sway of things. So I'm curious to see how that is going to pan out, but expecting pretty much the standard layout to be used, right? That is going to be Tempest, Luna, with a side sprinkle of a little bit of Stinger coming in there as well.
Yep. Yeah, this is classic meta on Space City. Tempest, Luna, and Stinger. You oftentimes see Stinger and Toxic traded out kind of evenly across the board in terms of the meta. But we saw, especially in those highlights, I was talking with you during the break, you can see the pick rates here for that main operator across the board. Again, Toxic's probably like 16% or whatever the math works out to. But we saw in the highlights, I was like, man, these Luna recon arrows were picking up so much value through the smoke. Being able to ping people through the smoke, especially when they're trying to steal the brick, was the reason Nightmare was able to hold that brick in the end. So back to Space City we go with similar comps, I can only assume. And DK, I am pumped for it. 2 teams could end it right here. Another 4 teams want to take it at least one more. What's your prediction? You think we're over now, or do we go all the way?
Hey, I mean, based on the pacing that we've seen so far and what the teams have been cooking up, I wouldn't be surprised if EG actually got their hands on another wrap, right? If they get that decode going, man, it would be a very exciting show. But I can tell you it's going to be super, super sweaty. And, of course, for EG, it's all going to depend whether or not they can get through this Westgate quick enough.
That's exactly right. Westgate is a little dangerous these days, especially with the dormitory spawn. So we'll see if Nightmare's able to hit some of those shots over the top. Maybe a little late to the party, maybe checking out Central Command. But look on the left, folks. Only 3 teams bringing in Tempest this time. A couple of these teams electing to save for the next round. Reminder, in round 7, everything gets reset. Evil Geniuses will use Tempest this round and the next if we play it. Here's a look at it a little bit closer. Jada Vi's running Tempest. Kills all. Tempest again. Mumu, Tempest for EG. Those are the only Tempests on the map. Everybody else getting some recon up in the skies. Farmer Lucas running Raptor on this map. And otherwise, if it's not Recon with Raptor, it is Luna. And then, like you mentioned, a couple engineers. WKF's comp is pretty interesting. Double engineer into the D-Wolf. They're really trying to play control. Could see them maybe go for the brick and try to take it indoors. I don't know. We'll pay attention to it.
Yeah, we'll see. And I mean, I'm curious to see exactly where they are going to look to get that first decode going, as it is going to be EG with their hands on the brick. That dinner bell is about to be rung here, as the decode is starting right now. And, well, get ready for some chaos, as we are going to be up in the alleyway. And again, this is where ramps come into play, right? But fortunately, though, the ramp position that we saw being used there is going to be SSG on the opposite side. So not quite on the contentious point that we see EG looking to get themselves established. But LSZ, they're going to start to move up. FaZe, though, again, they just sitting back going like, you know what? Fine. Everybody focus up ahead. We are going to go and go for that loot.
I do want to point out that we've played 3 Metal Brick rounds now, and all 3 times Evil Geniuses have grabbed the brick first, and all 3 times they have planted the brick first. Great job from the gentlemen to keep the game in their hands, regardless of operator comps. Oh my goodness, don't need to talk about operator comps. When Meg's hitting a double with the bow. All right, anybody in chat talking trash about Meg, start eating your words now. WKF just lost both their players to Meg with the compound bow from distance, and they both got cleaned up. Liquids with a huge play. WKF, it doesn't matter what their comp is, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we should... I think it'd be hilarious if we saw Meg with like a green hood on his head or something when playing again, right? Just coming through with a bow, being an absolute menace. Repping a little bit of that Robin Hood play, but yeah, an absolutely insane performance so far. EG now gonna have to try and defend and hold off any potential advances coming in their direction. SSG, though, gonna be the first one to test the waters as EG looks to get themselves back up on their feet, and Mumu and Articuno doing quite a bit of work there over on the edge.
Yeah, in the meantime, it looks like Seabots has answered back. Took down Poppy from a distance. Trying to clean it up. Blue Rocket didn't quite get there, so they should be able to get the revive, but nice shots over the top. I thought, for some reason, I think they died so fast, I thought it was a sniper, but no, using the marksman rifle and just connects. Good shots from Seabots. But of course, only 2 minutes left on the clock on the brick. So EG versus SSG is the fight we do need to pay attention to. If SSG decides to aggress that fight before their Tempest Ult is off cooldown, or back on cooldown, rather.
I mean, whichever way you like it, right? It doesn't... it's not going to make too much of a difference. But now... Ooh, Seabots, though. That does make a difference, right? You got to watch out for that bow. Meg is cooking.
Dude, that's a full wipe from Meg alone. Somebody was asking, how many shots does it take?
1.
With the bow, it's 1. If it's a headshot, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, Meg's online. Shots are hitting. Game may change for Liquids. That's 3 kills, 3 points, but they need the brick. Let's get after it. 60 seconds on the clock on the mana brick. We got to pay attention right here, right now. SSG should have their Tempest Ult on cooldown. They should be able to make a play for this. But Evil Geniuses are waiting for it. They see Killzall. They're going to take their shot and hopefully cut him down before he gets there.
Well, let's see if that one is going to be on the cards here. Meanwhile, EG, they are just absolutely frantic on the angles, looking both ways. They want to make sure that they can go the distance with this, and of course a little bit of that Uluru intelligence gathering, right? Up comes too easy, right on the edge, and it's all going to boil down to what happens next. Could this be the end of the day? Round number 5 could be the wrap.
I'm so focused on the bow. There's only 20 seconds left, folks. Evil Genius is under a ton of pressure. Maybe Spacestation going just for the kills here. If they wipe all of Evil Geniuses, they're out in the open. That timer will pause. They're looking for the slaughter. They kill Loco. It pauses. Loco's able to answer back not too easy, but Killzall's able to get the steal. Evil Genius is in deep trouble, but Killzall going for the steal there does save Loco to be able to stay alive for a moment. Nice double back to stay up, but Killzall versus Loco with the help of Skies. Evil Geniuses, fortune favors the bold usually, and Loco may have just gotten away with murder. Did he make it inside? No way.
I think that looks like a yes, right? With Loco.
That's insane.
I mean, That guy is absolutely on fire when it comes to getting out of a sticky situation. But, I mean, Al Snow is also going to be looking to pack some heat as they start to push on forward. FaZe now starting to light it up, looking to build that momentum. But for EG here, they need to find those kills, right? They are currently trailing by 2 points behind Nightmare. So if anything, Loco needs to find a way to pop off or bring his team back on their feet. But first up, it is going to be SSG looking to push up and test them out. Ooh, but unfortunately,
nice
Loco can't make it out of this one.
Got to use Tempest dive roll there to swing around the corner, take down Evil Geniuses, keep this tournament going. If it wasn't at the backs of Spacestation Gaming, this tournament would be over. Nobody else even played for the brick. Everybody was concerned about kills on the outside. Only SSG forced us to go at least, well, maybe another round. Nightmare still here and slowly but surely making their way this direction. They're the only other team that could close things out right here, and Killzall is shooting right now. What a shot to get Diogod very weak, but does want to stay patient. Doesn't want to scam here, especially when they have control of the brick and the decoding station. They can take a breath and prepare for this FaZe push.
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely look to take this in stages, right? They don't have to keep that momentum going consistently. It does tire you out quite a bit, but now in the meantime, out comes Lucas with a little bit of a scan, looking to see if he can find anything potentially moving through test range. And so far, so good. There's not going to be any threats right directly ahead of them. But SSG, though, they still have the decoding station under lockdown. So let's see whether or not anybody is going to look to chase that position, because the only threat to that was EG, and they're out of here.
70 seconds. Spacestation Gaming have solid score across the board. So Mana Brick here will put them well within contention with Nightmare and Evil Geniuses. There's so much game clock because Evil Geniuses planted this brick immediately. We have plenty of time. Oh, look at that. Killzall was able to pick up equal plays. I talked about the efficacy of the man. Finding that shot across the bow and putting equal plays down to Yellow Timer. They will pick up equal. That could be a difference maker in future fights. And that is an extra point as well. Here comes FaZe.
Let's see how far they can go. Already up to 20 points. And that is going to be Nightmare also adding a few additional points on board. But it is going to be Skies waiting that descent from FaZe as they now look to move up. Good awareness coming through here from the FaZe side as they are absolutely on the money, trying to clear out all the angles. Up comes Too Easy now, having to try and retaliate, quickly sending out the arrows, but the shots and the pressure is just too much. As one player goes down, Too Easy, just locking in, popping off. One more to go. Oh, beautiful headshot. Oh.
So dang close and still able to get out. Sudoku is able to trade back those kills. Almost a 1v3 from SSG. That was disgusting. Ran out of bullets, man. A bigger magazine. He gets it. Killzall still alive and healing. And Spacestation Gaming in the chaos was able to fire enough shots down that FaZe couldn't get to the Mana Brick in time. Mana Brick is Spacestation Gaming's. They will join the likes of Nightmare and Evil Geniuses at the top of the leaderboard, and we are at the very least going to Game 6. What a tournament it's been, DK. And to see Spacestation Gaming up here tied with Nightmare and EG brings a big smile to my face because it means we got more games.
See, I told you I need popcorn. I legitimately need popcorn because this stuff is exciting looking at what the teams are bringing in here. But of course, now it's going to be SSG. Killzall looking to wrap this one up, pushing up on towards FaZe. FaZe still trying to get themselves completely bashed up, but the sprays are in, and Killzall now means money. He is going to try and go aggressive, jumping, jiving, and getting his hands on a beautiful wipeout.
Great play from the Beast, man. He's good at isolating ones and outplaying his opponents. 1v3 is going to be really tough, especially because he is low on ammo in that But, man, the ability to stay alive, too. You got to remember, if Spacestation Gaming get wiped there, that timer pauses right before they get the decode. Just staying alive actually secured them that brick. Really great awareness. Solid outplays. And now he is on the run. The only teams left on the map is a full team of Nightmare hunting down Killzall. This is good for Nightmare. It's actually very good for Nightmare. I mean, look at the game clock. We got plenty of time to extract still. and we've got a ton of bodies we can loot. But Killzall has 1 bullet.
And that's all he needs. Let's see if you can land the shot, right? This is when it matters. And of course, now getting marked by that that quick scope there is going to make things a little bit more challenging. He's going to be properly tested to see he can survive the onslaught. But so far, I mean, there is still a little bit of hope available to him. He, of course, has that backup weapon, right? Not just the AWAM, he has a bit of backup, but he needs that, especially now with Equal looking to contest here and push up.
Oh my God. What? What an ego chow off of the ED. He does get killed in the back, but hey, that's an extra point. That was sickening that he was able to make that play over the built cover too, by the way. Great shots. Killzall is teed up right now, and it is paying off. That's an extra point. And again, right now, it is coming down to tiebreaker, so that extra point could be the difference maker. Also, that was Equal Plays, who had already been killed by Killzall. I told you that yellow timer would matter when he hit his shot earlier. There's only 2 players now from Nightmare that can extract. That's a lot of points that were just stolen away from Nightmare with a whole nother body that can't loot up all these dog tags and all these guns on the ground and then extract. Huge play from Killzall.
I mean, absolutely insane things coming through here. And now it's all down to see how much assets they can find here, right? Can they capitalize on enough bank to make those points count for them? Because as we can see, they are currently only 2 points behind. And I mean, based on the amount of loot available to them, there is a chance that we could definitely see Nightmare closing the gap and making the next round a very challenging play for 3 squads, right? SSG, Nightmare, and of course, those evil geniuses.
Crazy map, and now we sit and wait for these 2 players to grab everything they possibly can and then extract. Overall, it is worth mentioning now as we're moving into the later rounds. Well, before I get there, let's look back on some crazy replays, some nice shots here from C-Bots. Open things up, but Meg had so many great plays with the bow. He gets a full team wipe on WKF with the bow, but I was paying attention to this fight right here because Killzall versus everyone at the end of it. That snipe right there, of course, matters. We already showed you why, but this fight right here was the most important. SSG was able to stay alive. Killzall able to stay up 2 easy finding kills around, almost getting a double, and then Killzall runs. That calm, probably from Killzall, maybe from 2 easy. Yes, a little frustrated he didn't get the 1v3, but he allowed Killzall to run away. He was saying, Killzall, you stay up, we get the brick. And that's exactly what happened. Great team effort, great team play. And you can see the excitement because he knows how important that last kill was against Equal Plays. That is a gigantic kill in terms of point swing. An extra kill for Killzall, another extra 800k. The saving of a ton of loot that Nightmare could have got on an entire another person in their whole backpack that they extract with. Look at the timers here, DK. We also have our extract in 3 minutes 15 seconds. Overall game clock 3:45, so no problem there. Like, so much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason why Kills All is called Kills All, right? Because that's what he's done so far here in this round. But again, a great opportunity here for Nightmare to find as much profit as they can. Already up to pretty much 5 mil, so that is going to award them 2 additional points, but of course, they are going to look to push that even further. And I mean, the more bank that they can get here, the higher that overall point position will be for them. And I mean, they are now starting to knock on the door here of SSG. So let's see how far they can take that. But look at Killzall. 4 kills coming in. Meg with those 3 beautiful hits coming through with a compound bow. I mean, they could be a new meta in the coming here, right? It's like
yeah, sure.
They could be cooking something up.
Listen, I had a chance to cast over the warfare side of esports with Delta Force, and the bow is meta. And I think in that you can afford to miss a lot of shots. In operations, bow's not meta because if you miss any shots, you're worthless. Meg was hitting shots, all right, and it worked out this time around. But still, a fun weapon to watch just because of the roller coaster of emotions sometimes watching it. But Nightmare continued to loot. They're just going to pack everything up. Still going to extract. So I was going to say, the point I was going to make before is also dog tags. For those that haven't watched esports, dog tags also rack up value as you play. So in these rounds are 150k a piece, I believe. So it's actually a decent amount of value. Nice gold find, by the way, from Lucas. Half a mil there. But we're looking for 2 mil. Every 2 mil rounded down is an extra point. So they really need to do a lot of math here and make sure they're bringing enough out to maximize their points.
Yeah, because they can't see the total tally like we can, right? And they're going to have to rely on those internal calculators to see, can they get the math right? But yeah, I mean, every red they can find is definitely going to help them close that gap, as they're already up to 7.7 mil now. I believe a moment ago, ooh, look at that. Okay, that's a total assets. Never mind. I was about to say, goodness gracious me, they jumped from 7 mil to 21.8. That is insane find. I don't know what they got their hands on, but I also want to know what the heck that was. But yeah, I mean,
solid value overall, though. I mean, that's a lot of supply points. And you don't see this that often. They're looting their own teammate because that's just prevented loss in value. It doesn't really change anything. It's not like Operation Pubs where it just goes straight back to the player and you lose all the value. This is a saved value if they're able to piece apart his weapon. Something else you oftentimes see, you and I were talking about this during the break, is that revolver that players will bring in. They won't even bring in ammo for it. It's just a attachment magnet. You can put everything under the sun on that revolver. It just helps you kind of get maximum value out of the map. So fun combos, but a great map for Nightmare, as well as, of course, Space Station Gaming. Nightmare walking with a ton of points that'll help them in the overall tiebreaker. Space Station Gaming joining the ranks of people that have a battle brick, which is really all that matters.
Ooh, look at the points though. 9 mil is what they've got, as they extract puts them quite comfortably up on 24. So they are now currently tied with Space Station Gaming on a glorious position there on the overall board. I mean, everybody just doing so much throughout this round. Absolutely exciting. And Killzone, I mean, just going the distance, being an absolute menace to the squads here. And I mean, we love it, right? That is why we're here, to see these players make absolute magic happen on that battlefield.
Yeah, I love much of these player camps as well, seeing the different reaction. Killzone laughing, smiling, knowing how good of a round they just had. Everybody else mostly locked in, talking, preparing strategies, moving into Game 6. Game 6 arguably is one of the most important. This is the last time that your metas are a little bit different. We'll talk about that in a second. But Killzone Skies, too easy. Pick up 8 kills in that game. That is a ridiculous point total. That's 8 extra points. Plus, they pick up 6.4 mil just from the kills they got. They didn't get any assets. They didn't make it out. But 6.4 is going to pay for their kits and more that they lost on the map. Over 2,000 damage. One of the highest numbers I've seen, especially in our Delta Force Rise series. But look at the overall stats, DK. Anything else you want to write home about? I mean, Nightmare, crazy loot as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've pretty much said all of it, right? FaZe also being able to capitalize on a little bit of that chaos and the carnage, squeezing out those 5 kills for themselves as well. So a pretty decent run from them. But it's all going to come down to how it all translates over onto our match standings. Who was the one to do enough to secure themselves in that pole position?
That's a great shout. We'll see. FaZe pick up 5 kills. And of course, Meg did pick up that triple kill on the bow. You can see Meg there. I'll steal this from chat. It's from Jimmy, by the way. And chat, he said Megalith. I like that nickname for Meg with the bow. Killzone at 4 kills, though, our top slayer. And that 4th kill may be the most important, preventing a ton of supply points from Nightmare. Ego challenging equal plays over the top of that built barricade from Aluru. And then we go to damage, and it still kills all. 1.3k by himself, and his teammate right behind. Too easy at 750. Ridiculous.
I mean, this is where, you know, the snipers definitely come in handy quite a bit, because, man, that just packs quite a bit of a punch. And of course, Killzone also walking away with assist right here alongside Mr. Dio God, who's been able to secure only 2, but is going to be sitting up in the pole position for that. And of course, next up is going to be the assets, who are going to be our big owners, and it's none other than Deathwing coming through with a glorious 4.9 mil extraction.
Yeah, a great job from Nightmare to make sure that they have their wits about them after Killzone got 1 and still get the kill on Killzone, who was the round MVP. And then, of course, Nightmare was able to get out. That's a lot of loot. Killzone, a lot of kills. 4 1,300 damage and an assist, well-earned MVP, and one of the reasons why, of course, this team was able to get the Mandel brick. It's been a team effort, though. We highlight Killzall often because he can make these big splashy plays. He is playing the Assault Operator after all, right? He's picking up a ton of kills, but that was a huge team effort. Skies, too easy, picking up a double and almost a triple in main to allow Killzall to get out so they both don't die and they get the brick. Like, really clutch, icy plays. And this is why I was hyping up SSG at the top of the show, DK. I knew it was a matter of time before they got the brick. These guys have scrimmed more than anybody else. They've put in a ton of work. They got second on a global stage with a similar roster, 2/3. I mean, they're looking like they're in final form, and it's just day one. So we got to pay attention to Spacestation Gaming. But of course, it's still 3 teams with the Mandel brick and 3 teams that could win in round 6. I don't know. I'm putting you on the spot, DK. You think it's over in 6, or do we go to game 7?
I believe that there's a high probability that it could possibly end, right? Just looking at how the teams have been playing. And I mean, just going to say, Killzall is with the right org because that play was out of this world.
I like it. Spacestation Gaming, join the ranks at the top. We'll see who stays at the top, though. Will it end here or will it end in 7? We'll be right back after a very short break.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweep!
This, and LG's got him they're here, lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that.
Smoke hands over Asera. The situation's reaching a breaking point. Time to bring in the experts. Team Rainbow has touched down in Asera. New ground? Not sure where to start? Search containers. Grab high-value loot.
I hear when I can, stop threats when I must.
Take down anyone in your way. Heavy fire, raise your shield, and hold the line. Don't forget your tactical gear. The gripple gun.
Enemy here!
Taking fire? Pull out the Hive Tac pistol. Patch yourself up. Keep your squad in the fight.
Call if you need a hand.
Outnumbered? Drop the jammer.
말보다는 행동이지.
Go dark. Strike first.
I've seen real horror.
Looks like they were waiting for us. No pressure. Trust your aim. Learn the map. Stay with your squad. Team Rainbow brings tactics built for close calls in Delta Force. That means sharper plays, smarter fights, and operator-on-operator mind games. All right, it's go time. Extract safely, and everything you learn comes with you. New operation, new look. During the event, Noxus Vigil Bundle, Geneva's Montaigne Bundle, and Stinger Stock Bundle. Pick any 2 of the 3 operator bundles for free. More collab rewards are waiting. Open an Alpha pack and try your luck. In Asera, the right weapon can turn the tide. Black Eyes, one of Rainbow Six Siege's most iconic weapon appearances, gets a new Delta Force take. Complete event missions and choose one of 2 Black Eyes collab bundles for free. Join the event to claim the MP5 submachine gun Black Eyes, plus more rewards. Wait, what's this? Team Rainbow left something behind in Asera? A collectible drone you can deploy. Deploy it and see what you can uncover. July 10th to July 23rd, play to earn the K437 assault rifle Domineering. Looks like we're fully loaded for this operation. That's the full rundown on the Delta Force Rainbow Six Siege collaboration. Remember the rules: sharp aim, map knowledge, and teamwork. The mission: bridge in, extract out.
Got the mantle bricks. Find it. Stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
Oh, I'm not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Damage, and there it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series, America's Day 1, Week 1, and Spacestation Gaming. It may not seem like it on Killzall's face. He was excited earlier because they got the Mandel Brick. They got 8 kills. Ridiculous map for them, but it was Nightmare, last team on the map, getting a ton of supply points. So I'll be very curious to see what this leaderboard looks like. Wow, I thought it'd be close. Wasn't sure it'd be this close. This is the second time in a row we've looked at this leaderboard, DK, and we've seen a tie in the squad points category.
Yes, sir, indeed. And of course, I mean, it all can still change up, right? Any one of the 3 teams currently with that Mandel Brick in hand could be the one to take the show here today. So it's all going to boil down to what comes through in round number 6. But at the same time, any one of the other 3 opposing squads, right? FaZe, LSZ, as well as WKF, any one of those could take their swing at a Mandel Brick as well. And that will take us all the way to round number 7, and then it's going to be everything on the line to see who's going to be bagging the most points here for our very first day in the Delta Force Rise Series Americas.
Yeah, a great shout, honestly, DK. I want to come back to those points things you just mentioned, but first we gotta talk about operators because it is game 6. This is the most important one. This is the last time operators are limited. Moving into round 7, everything resets. You can still only use 2, for instance, of something, but they're all reset. So moving into map 6, we see that 4 teams still have a Tempest available, but there's 2 teams that don't, and that could be the difference maker in one of those 2 teams not being able to get that brick, because this right here is our comp meta for Space City.
Yeah, and of course, we do see a few of the teams that are still having to get their hands on that final Mandel Brick, right? Still have a Tempest up to play for, and so there's going to be a lot being revealed as we push forward into the next round. And of course, starting it off, this is going to be the big one to see what the loadout combination is, right? What operators did they go for, and who decided to bag their golds?
That's right. Map number 6, a big one. 3 teams can win it. 3 teams can push us to map 7. It feels like a coin flip because oftentimes it is. But if map 7 is heads, we have landed heads on this coin like 10 times in a row. I swear, every scrim, EMEA, everything we've seen recently has been game 7, so I'm not holding my breath to wrap up here. I'd like to see one more, but in transition, SSG yet again taking a ton of fire in their rotation to mid. This time not losing a player though, so good on them to stay up and smoke out.
Yeah, I like the pacing though, but it does seem like we do have the players there from FaZe rocking that full gold, so they mean business, right? They are in here to survive, and let's see if that is going to mean anything for them moving through this round. But of course, WKF coming through with all purples there, so it is going to be a little bit more challenging on their ends. They have to be a little bit more cautious as, well, the ammo is definitely going to be punching holes through their gear, and it's going to be that full send for the Mandel Brick yet again. It does seem like LSZ, though, ooh, not going to be the first one to get their hands on it. Instead, WKF is going to be the one to steal it.
Nice job from WKF to have heads up ability to know where the other teams are, thinking, hey, actually, we have a free path. Go right when it spawns. This is the same thing that Evil Geniuses did last time. They immediately grabbed it at second 0 when it spawned, grabbed it, rolled away. Everybody else was just a hair too slow. I think a second or two longer there, you're getting shot as you grab it. Immediately, WKF, they throw the brick into the decoding station, and they start this thing off hot. Again, if it's WKF, if it's FaZe, if it's LSZ, we play another. If it's anybody else, EG, Nightmare, SSG, we are done in 6.
Ooh, this is going to be a very interesting one. But I like the approach coming through from SSG, playing a little bit of that chameleon approach, right? Just trying to become one with the wall. They are just on the opposite side of that decoding station. So let's see what their play is going to be. Meanwhile, LSZ are going to be looking to push a little bit more as they now start to encroach. But here we go. Match point unlocked, though, for 3 of our squads. We can see it popping off over on towards that right-hand side. And we are seeing quite a few goals, not only for the side of FaZe, coming into this round.
Yeah, FaZe also find a snipe on, I believe it was Killzall, going down for Spacestation Gaming. By the way, Spacestation Gaming, one of the few teams not running Tempest, because they don't have it available anymore. Liquid's also the same. This is what Evil Geniuses decided not to use their Tempest in map 4. FaZe, with their Tempest ult on cooldown, they decided to go for it. And he'll get that self-revive, no problem. Get back to safety and with the team. Trading of blows there. Both teams able to get the rest. Killzall does go to yellow timer, though, on that kill from earlier. So, remember that if Killzall goes down again, they can't get him back up. Too easy, though, waiting for FaZe to come over the top. FaZe thinking better of that engagement. It looks like, uh-oh, WKF is here. They have the brick right now decoding, and they swung around the backside. They're not waiting on anybody to come to them. They're playing aggressive, and they find Skies. Spacestation Gaming is in deep trouble.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not the kind of pacing that the SSG is going to look to have here, especially with only 1 player remaining. I mean, too easy is pretty strong, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to be all too easy for him to continue to stay in this round. We'll find out very soon how this is going to pan out. But Nightmare doing absolute hard work as well, as we do see them sitting quite comfortably with those 25 points on the board. WKF, they are going to be looking to sneak their way through, but let's take a look at that. It's going to be Peaky just going absolutely crazy, locking in the hits, and doesn't even seem phased with getting that kill.
Yeah, and that wasn't a very dangerous play because he had used the Tempest ult to get there. So that was exactly what you want to be able to earn. When you throw your Tempest ult on cooldown, you're not able to go for a retake on the brick or these really aggressive plays that aren't the flanks. So finding kills when you do pop the cooldown feels so dang good. It's like using your utility, using your incendiary, using a nade, using a lure rocket, and finding a knock. Like, that is a ton of value. And it's even more so on a team like SSG, who already has a brick. Too easy, able to get a couple bodies to safety. And able to pick up Skies. Don't know that they're going to get to Killzall, though, DK, because WKF is still looking over in that direction. And here goes Equal, using his Tempest ult, throwing down the emergency evasion device, full sending forward. He knows they're looking, need a smoke and run, but more fights happening at the same time.
Ooh, yeah, and there's going to be quite a few of those still erupting all over the place here, as it is going to be Equal pushing up for the brick.
Nice.
Oh, there we go. Successful seize as it comes through. Quick extraction there from the side of Nightmare, and they're now going to look to keep the pacing going. But one thing that I've not really seen all too much of is going to be the Evil Geniuses, right? I don't know where they currently are on the map. I can't see them.
Yeah, they're looking to show up late to this party, it looks like. Let all this chaos play out, show up late, and hopefully grab something away from whoever's left. For now, WKF are looking for a retake. FaZe took it away from Nightmare. Everybody using Tempest to get here, grab the brick, and get back to safety. A good play, and in the meantime, Skies has actually been allowed to revive Killzall. That is SSG fully back on their feet. Which is a bit surprising, but of course, everybody had to pay attention to the brick. Everybody wanted to reset that timer.
Well, let's see if that one pays off as SSG now back up to full force, getting ready to take on the next phase of their strategy here. What that is, only they know, but we'll find out hopefully soon. As Equal and Meg are having a bit of a stare down here at each other. Of course, that bulletproof window just coming in clutch here, as no one wants to be the one to get caught out, and both of those players kind of just acknowledging each other.
We do see Evil Geniuses moving into perspective now. You saw that green with our X-ray. Slowly but surely, they're making their way here. Not in a rush. 90 seconds on the clock feels like a lifetime when it comes to Delta Force. For some of these teams that are pretty far away, if you actually want to play for the brick and not just count on somebody else to steal it for you, you got to get a move on.
I think especially with the fact that they don't know who has the brick currently decoding, that is going to bring a little bit of that uncertainty into the mix here as well. So talk about pressure, these teams are facing quite a bit of that, and I mean it's up to 3 squads now to see if they can get their hands on that break. But for WKF, this is exactly what they want to have to put them in contention here as well. But ideally, they would love to get a few more additional points on as well, right? Squad points is going to be another key decider when it comes down to these ties. So let's see if they can maybe find those trades. But here we go. WKF, though, going to be potentially losing their first.
I think they're smartly just backing off, thinking they can't win a 2v3 rather than just holding the decoding station. They're going to allow for a steal because they don't need to rush it. And their third has snuck inside, so they could play for the res here if they, instead of playing for the brick, play for their teammate. I actually quite like that play from WKF to try to prevent Nightmare from wiping one of their members. But Nightmare are on the hunt. They not only got the brick, but now they are pushing this direction. They're going to hear that res going up, and Seabots is holding it. It's been pretty strong recently. Let's see if he can make a big play, trying to get to safety. Revive does land. He's going to be very weak. Seabot's playing over the top. Nice heady over the top. They do... Oh, no, they don't even trade. Nightmare just on a tear. They obliterate him. They're all gone. WKF. I thought it was a smart play. Turns out they gave away the brick and they gave away their lives.
Well, what an upset. Now it's, of course, gone into the hands here of Nightmare stepping up, looking to see what they can get happening over here. Can they secure their second brick and take the show here? Of course, already just looking to add even more to the total score, as they are having a bit of a loot session as well, looking to find a little bit more of those assets, get the bank flowing while they're at it. But this opens up the opportunity for a team like EG also now to start to reposition. We can see them pushing up from that southeastern side, but again, keeping themselves at bay, right? Not going to be looking to get aggressive unnecessarily. So that, of course, now allows SSG to take control of that brick yet again.
Spacestation Gaming went from a solo, got 2 reses on yellow timers, gets everybody back up, set up, grab the brick. We're able to walk up here for free. And now they have control of ramp as well. Like, what is going on right now? Everybody's interior. Nightmare had to play for WKF, a fair play. Liquids are down below as well. They're really late to the party. Evil Geniuses haven't even showed up to the party yet. They're finally moving on to our screen. They're around mid-map at CEO office, but on low side. And here goes FaZe. They pop their ult, doesn't get it. Gonna be able to self-revive, but 47 seconds on the clock.
Oh, this is where it gets a little bit nippy. Let's see who is going to be the one to clutch this one up. I mean, SSG, though, pretty good lockdown that they've got cooking over here. Let's see whether or not EG or Nightmare is going to look to contest this. Oh, Nightmare getting denied that play as DW gets shut down right then and there. But now, this is exactly that kind of pacing that SSG is looking for. And I mean, just a few seconds to go, and this could be their day.
I think they just put Skies on the brick. That's exactly what they're doing. Here comes Evil Geniuses so late, but they're right there, and they're not able to get the steal because Skies is sitting on the brick. There's enough smoke to cover it. 5 seconds. Nobody can make the play. Nobody can make a move. Spacestation Gaming are winning day 1, week 1 of America's region, and you can see the excitement on their face. That was a free one, but they want the extra points. They want to add salt to the wound.
Yeah, I mean, Killzall feeling like absolute gold right now, but can they do it? Can they find all the eliminations available to them? They are going to go out far me too easy now. Looking to step on up here, and up comes Lucas, just trying to get the heck out of dodge.
Everybody was just too slow. Every other team wanted every other team to do their dirty work for them. You had to make a move. Nightmare was able to get their res, and just a small mistake, over-peeking a window, over-peeking that door on the far side. They lose their player, and they can't move in time. Farmer Lucas, though, they want the kills. Second place matters, folks. Third place matters. We need the points. This is day one of week one. You got to go out on top. It's going to be Spacestation Gaming, but there's a lot of other points going around the map right now as everybody's trading blows and everybody's just shooting anything that moves, because every point may matter when it comes down to a tiebreaker. Nightmare versus Evil Geniuses, but Evil Geniuses out of this lobby. It's looking like all Nightmare in second place. And then a tiebreaker down to the bottom of the leaderboard between FaZe and Liquids also may matter.
Gonna be a pretty tough fight here for Liquids to try and get themselves back into contention. They still have 6 points to go to catch up to FaZe, and unfortunately there aren't 6 operators left in this round for them to try and take out, so they're gonna have to settle for the position they get themselves in right now. Meanwhile, Nightmare gonna try and do everything they can to bring the numbers back up potentially, but look at Killzone again, just on the money, coming through with the hits, and I mean, they are just out here farming points at everybody's expense.
Yeah, I mean, these moments matter. You need points, and Killzone's playing Deny right now. They get first no matter what, right? But there's also money on the line, too. There's a $50 bonus for every kill, which is ridiculous, especially for a guy like Killzone who's picking up a ton. And some of these other teams that maybe are threats to them, they want to try to negate some kills from them, negate some points. So maybe they drop in placement and lose a couple points on our overall leaderboard. We'll talk about this group staging points and how it all works again at the end, but a lot of points for the first, a lot of points for second, and it lags off from there. Killzone wins another one. We lose Liquids, we lose WKF, we lose Evil Geniuses. And we're down to 3 teams, and FaZe is a solo.
Yeah, I mean, oh,
got him.
And that there is a Bazinga play, right? Absolutely clutching it up. But I think the only reason why Meg got taken down and why Killzone got that play was because Meg wasn't wielding that crossbow, right? Not the crossbow, the compound bow. You need the bow. That's the only way Meg is going to look to dominate. Meanwhile, Nightmare now looking to bring everybody back into the fight. And there's only 2 more operators standing between them and that empty lobby. But of course, FaZe, though, not going to be backing off of this fight just yet.
Now let's take a look back on some of these crazy plays. I mean, this one right here won them the game and won them this match. They opened up on Nightmare. Nightmare is a duo. They couldn't full send at this fight, and the reaction from Killzone says it all. A huge moment. And then Nightmare just started farming the lobby. Farmer Lucas finding several kills. But it was just auto carnage between FaZe, SSG, Nightmare, Liquids, body after body. These points matter, though. Again, I think we look back on what's gone on throughout this whole competition. This is the first time I would say the Evil Geniuses made a pretty big mistake. They thought other people were going to do the dirty work to slow this game down, force a couple steals so they get there at the end. Everybody's weak, and they can come play trash man, clean everything up. Take out the trash, get the brick, and walk home. But they were just too late. And because of that, they're going to drop all the way from what was the most dominant team. They're dropping to third 100%. Nightmare has 34 points right now, regardless of whether they get out or not. Yeah, they lose some, but they're not losing 17.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I think that kind of just creates a bit of expectation for EG coming into their next days of play, right, to try and better this overall performance, because, yeah, you can't really afford to drop the ball like we've seen there, right? You got to keep on it, and you got to keep that consistency going. I mean, FaZe also going to look to just get that extraction secured as, well, they want to bag with those 26 points as much as they can, as you said, right? Every single point is going to matter here, irrespective of how you are able to acquire those points. But now it's down to Nightmare and SSG to see who's going to be the last team standing at the end of the timer. We've got 2 minutes and a bit left on the clock, but this is going to be that showdown. Ooh, Nightmare looking to capitalize on a few points here.
Yeah, we take those. You can get anything. Oh, nice shot. DW. Takes down 2 easy. Kills all. The last player for SSG. Dip, dive, duck, and dodge. You got a lot of things coming your way, including a couple players. Party had an amazing map. I just don't think there's a way you're going to get out of this one for free. Down he goes. Spacestation Gaming are out of here. Nightmare stand tall. All 3 remaining at the end, and they will assuredly get second place in day 1 of week 1 here in season 1. The Delta Force Rise Series Americas. First day, man. So much fun to watch. That'll be it. They're going to loot up and just double check DK that they are in second, but there's no question they are.
I don't think that even if they tried everything they can think of, there's no way of them going up to first place or even getting relegated down into third, right? So they're just making sure that there is no chance of them going in any which direction, but it's all going to be up to how much they can fit into those safe boxes before the timer runs out. That is going to be the main focal point here for them. And of course, it does seem like their priority is going to be a combination of dog tags and a bit of ammo.
100%. Those dog tags are 150k a piece. Those go nicely in your safe box as a 1-slot item. Not too bad at all. While we've got a moment, I've been talking about that point system. We briefly went over it. There's a couple key notes that you brought up that I think I want to remind people of. Mandel bricks are an extra point in your group stage point totals. So you get 8 points if you win the first, or if you win your match. You get 6 points if you get second in your match. You get 4 points if you get third, 2 for fourth, 1 for fifth, nothing for last. And then every mandel brick you get is also an extra point. So first place actually is walking away with 10 points because they get the double mandel brick. And then second and third are getting that extra point as well. So this is why it's super important that you pay attention to tiebreakers in the group stages. It's not just winning all your matches, albeit that would definitely get you to the finals on week 5. It is also winning your tiebreakers, getting your second places, your third places here and there when you're not playing perfect. And again, I think that's the one mistake in Evil Genius's game was this last rep. They end up falling in third, which takes them from 4 to 5 points with their mandel brick. And that is a miss of several points, 2 to 3 points that they could have had for getting second.
Yeah, I mean, that's just going to be putting so much more pressure on them. And of course, as we know, yes, this is only the first day, the first match, right? We still have 11 more to come. So there are going to be multiple opportunities for teams to really just crank out as many points as they can get their hands on. So every single point you can find, be that kills, be those mandel breaks, be it anything, you're going to have to try and capitalize as much as you can, because come the end of week number 4, only a few played teams are going to be allowed to go directly into the finals. The others are going to have to crank it out through the survival stage.
That's exactly right. Good shot from DK and a great day. A lot on the line for these players, in Space Station Gaming come out on top. They don't start on top, but they certainly end on top. A great day from them. Great day from all of our competitors. Nightmare pick up 8 kills, by the way, as a team in that last rep to assuredly get second place. Big shout out to Deathwing here, DW, for picking up 4 of those and getting the MVP of round 6.
Yeah, very well-deserved play coming through there from Deathwing. Just pushing all the way through. But speaking about which, though, Goj, there's a little bit of something happening right now.
I think we've got an interview already ready to go with our winning team. Excited to bring them in here and see what they have to say, because Space Station Gaming certainly proved that, well, Killzall, listen, just scrap everything I was going to say. My man, welcome back. I think you certainly mobbed in the competition. But, brother, I mean, how many times have we been here where I get a chance to interview? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think, oh, beautiful. Okay. How many times have we been here? You show up in the interview booth, and I'm like, how does it feel? Does it get boring winning, or is this just commonplace for you?
Oh, it never gets boring. I love winning. Like, we love winning. There's nothing wrong with that.
I love it. Quick follow-up. Just how does it feel, man? Truly, how does it feel to win day 1, match 1, week 1 of season 1? Like, this is it. Like, this is the very beginning, and you set the tone with Space Station Gaming on top. How's that feel?
It feels wonderful. We're a little nervous going into it. I'm not gonna lie, little nervous. The aim was not on. We were not playing good a little bit, but we pulled it together when it mattered on the bricks, and I'm just feeling ecstatic for the next month that we're playing.
Well, I mean, looking at the kind of a performance that you've been bringing onto the battlefield here today, right? I mean, I said this to Gojo earlier, right? You are with the right org because your performance today has been out of this world. You've been bringing in stellar. Looking forward to see even more of that. But do you have a message to the opposing teams? Anything that you want to say to them?
I mean, I ain't got nothing to say. My play proves it. Just know when they're on that death screen and it says kills all, it's just inevitable.
Fair enough. Listen, I want to give you a moment. We did this during scrims as well, and I think it's a good question. You guys have a very strong team. Obviously, you're a great player, but you guys got too easy. And there's something about that roster right now that is clicking. Why is your team so much better than the rest? What makes your roster different?
Honestly, I think we're smarter than everybody. I'm not going to lie. I think in the brain department, we're just there. I mean, we are out rotating them right now. It is crazy. We're in their heads. Anytime they see our name, they run away. They don't want to fight us, bro. We're just too good.
So what would you say is going to be that distinguishing factor for you? Is it going to be your aggression going through the remaining days that we have ahead of us going through this group stage? Or do you think you are going to just, as you said, right, try to outsmart all the teams out on the battlefield?
It's a little both. I got this little rule, and we live by it. It's don't expect the other teams to help you in the match. You got to go out there and take it for yourself. And I don't expect any of the teams to help us win, but if they do, that's perfectly fine with me. And if they don't, we're still trying our hardest to win.
I think that's a great motto, man. I mean, you watch that one back from our perspective. There's a couple times where somebody else was winning if you guys didn't make a move because nobody else was making the play. So you took the game into your hands and you were able to get the win. Congrats, man. You guys are going to start on top in our group standings with a massive 10 points to kick things off. I know you're excited for the finals if you should get there. And I'm sure you've got a great road ahead of you through our group stages. Final thoughts from you. The floor is yours. You want to thank Spacestation. You want to thank your fans. Whoever you want to thank, it is up to you. Any final words for the broadcast?
I mean, let's go, baby. Little Space Station on top for the first 10 points. Maybe 60 points at the end of the month. Maybe we win every time. Who knows? We'll see.
Not lacking for confidence, my friend. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us here at the booth, and I'm sure we'll see you in some future weeks.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers. That is Killzall, Spacestation Gaming. DK, that went about as I expected. That guy loves to win and very well executed. It was well earned. I think confidence is the key to success. So nice job there from Killzall.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to argue with on that point, right? 26 squad points is what they are going to be walking away with here. And I mean, 19 kills coming through. Nightmare, though, they were back in quite a bit of heat there as well, right? 33 squad points. I mean, if that meant anything, I think the next time we see these two groups face off against each other in week 3, it is going to be sweaty.
Yeah, I agree, man. I actually saw, I think week 1 showed us a lot, or day 1 of week 1 here with Spacestation Gaming winning. Showed us a lot for everybody, though. Nightmare had a really good rep today. I think if you're a Nightmare fan, this is great news. You're also picking up a solid amount of points when you're thinking about how this all works. This is just the first match, and all of these points will be added up and summed up towards the end. So Nightmare had a good rep. They get solid points. Also, if you're an Evil Geniuses fan, yes, I was kind of criticizing their last round, but everything else was near flawless. These guys were cooking today. Arguably, top to bottom, the best team here. They just couldn't close it out. And so watch out for those top 3 teams. But even the bottom 3 teams had big moments. Shout out to Meg, picks up 10 kills on the day. Talk about the bow all you want. Meg was hitting shots, and that means bodies were hitting the ground, and 10 points is a ton of value for your team. So I saw a lot from Liquids. I saw a lot from FaZe, WKF. It was everybody had a chance to make big plays, and this is a great start to the Delta Force Rise series. Match MVP, though, in the last run, last map was equal plays, picks up ridiculous. Actually, for the entire match, this is equal plays. 10 kills, ridiculous kill totals, as well as a ton of assets. Nightmare as the team with a full package and equal plays, a big member of that roster making big plays. So big shout out to them. And here's a look at that overall we were talking about, DK. With all those extra points from the Metal Bricks calculated, you got 10 points for SSG.
Yeah, it's going to be easy day indeed. But of course, you know, I think Nightmare, they're going to be a team to watch. And I think the big takeaway for the Evil Geniuses is exactly like Killzall said, right? Don't count on the other teams to do the work for you. Get out there and get the job done.
That's exactly right. Well, looking at our overall leaderboard, of course, we've only had 6 teams play, and here are the 6 teams and their overall stats. That total match points category in the far right is the only thing that matters when we get into who makes the finals, right? We can talk about tiebreakers all we want, but match points, very important. And we will see, of course, the rest of our teams very soon. And you can see a couple of these things that are highlighted or grayed out. We talked about that before. Top 2 go straight to the finals, and then bottom 2 eliminated, so watch out for that as well as we get deeper into the competition. But looking at week 1, we do know that, of course, Spacestation Gaming won our match 1, but this is Friday, and we've got Saturday tomorrow. More matches in Americas and EMEA. That's going to be Group C and D. All the other teams that we haven't seen yet, the other 6 teams, all playing tomorrow, and then we will see A and C on Sunday. DK, we are live every Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next 5 weeks. I am so pumped.
Yeah, I mean, me too, right? There's nothing that you can say that's going to make me step away from it. We want to be here. We want to see all the spinny gameplay come through. And of course, tomorrow is going to be a brand new day with brand new teams stepping up to the plate, looking to show us what they can bring in, who's going to be the one to sit at the top of their respective log. And so I'm super excited to see what Group C and D are going to be bringing in.
Group stage is just getting started, even just this weekend. Week 1 already starting out with a bang. EMEA was a ton of fun earlier today. Went to Game 7. Americas goes to Game 6. Spacestation Gaming on top for this region. But folks, that is all we've got for you. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes that made this all possible. Delta Force for making the Delta Force Rise series. This is the beginning of something extremely special, and you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you drop a follow on all major socials to stay up to date on the schedule. And you can go down to the Twitch panel below if you're watching on Twitch. Click that button right there. You'll see it. It's big wide. It says Americas or EMEA. It'll get you all the resources you need to know what's going on with Delta Force Rise series and how to stay up to date on all the news and when the games are happening. But same time, same place, tomorrow here at the Americas region. You're not going to want to miss it. The other 6 teams you haven't seen yet competing on main stage. But that's it from us, folks. As a reminder, we couldn't do it without you, the viewers. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time.
Members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and NT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute swing.
And LG's got it, though. They're here. Lines them up, even through the shot.